Coming to you from the 40 acres in the state capital of Texas, here in Austin. It's midweek college baseball at SEC Network Plus, and tonight a matchup between the Southland and the SEC. The Islanders of A&M Corpus wrapping up a season-long 6-game road swing. The Longhorns looking to bounce back after a tough series loss on the road in College Station. Welcome to UFCU Dish Falk Field alongside Mike Harge. I'm Brain Freeman, and Mike, we talked about it for Texas. Hadn't lost a series all year, but that streak ended against Texas A&M in a shortened series this past weekend at Blue Bell Park.
Yeah, this was a tough series for Texas baseball. They hit the ball well, but they couldn't close out some of those games, and Friday night got away from them. Saturday was just out there, and then, of course, you talked about the game that was missed when they had to cancel.
Now, the Longhorns did display their power, albeit in defeat. Aiden Robbins certainly had a huge series himself. He hails from Holy Ghost High School, but holy smokes, he had himself a series.
You talk about a man that's got some power. He's been able to hit the ball to all fields, and that's one of the big moments that everybody looks for. How is he hitting? And this was a guy that was in the Big East. Now he's in the SEC, showing his power here.
A pair of 2-homer games against the rival Aggies this past weekend. His numbers right now in the SEC, and he clearly has been one of the top hitters in a conference loaded with great bats.
That's the beautiful thing about what we've gotten a chance to see from him. He's come here, adjusted well, and has been able to show his power, let alone his plate discipline, and being able to be at the top in all those categories.
Now, Aiden Robbins has been a known commodity all year long for Texas. For Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Jarrett Flaggart hasn't been that until this past weekend in Hammond, Louisiana, when he homered 3 times.
You look at that and you see that he's 3 home runs in his last 7 at-bats, but you also got to understand that took him a while to get there. Now Coach Malone hopes that he can stay locked in and show some of that power today.
And this Islander lineup is up against Michael Winter here for Texas. Longhorns glad to have him back and healthy and making the start tonight against A&M Corpus. And this game is underway. A little bit more about Michael Winter as you look at the Texas right-hander. Hailing from Prairie Village, Kansas. Big righty, 6'5", 240. Not a huge body of work this season, of course, not available. Mike, and tonight making his 7th appearance of the year.
Yeah, it's important that he gets his innings up and working his way back to being healthy. And this is his first opportunity. He got a chance to pitch on Saturday, but now he's back and getting a start. Hopefully he goes more than 1 inning, hopefully 2, and then they'll see how he feels after that.
Could be over strike. It is 3-1 to Jaden Reynolds, leadoff man here for the Islanders. One of 5 A&M Corpus batters hitting better than 300 this year. An Islander team that, again, is wrapping up a season-long 6-game road swing. So far, they've gone 2-3 as that goes foul. And coming off a series loss against Southeast Louisiana, they won the opener against the Lions on Friday, but then dropped the final 2 games. And it was a very frustrating series for head coach Scott Malone.
Yeah, because you think that your team is about to try to find some momentum and get things going, and then you got to go out there and battle and come up short. Now he gets an opportunity to come to the University of Texas and have a battle right away.
And that's a single into center to start the game off for Jaden Reynolds. Leadoff man is on here for A&M Corpus Christi. And that's going to bring up Cade Sanchez here for Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And he's been on a tear this season. You talk about consistent hitters. 2nd highest batting average in the Southland Conference. And the senior from Houston steps in now for A&M Corpus.
Plate discipline is one thing that I noticed from this young man. You see that average of 366 is something to be very proud of. That means he can move the baseball. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some hit and runs, a lot of action on the base paths today.
It's been an inconsistent lineup this year for A&M Corpus Christi. In fact, you look back at the series for them against the Lions over the weekend, and on Sunday they were no-hit through 6 innings, but then came to life and nearly came back to win that game. Lost 5-4 despite scoring a couple of runs in the 9th inning. And the way they want to score, small ball.
They got to make it happen because they don't have a lot of guys that are going to drive the ball out of the ballpark. So they want to make some things happen on the base pass, making sure that they're being aggressive but smart on the base pass.
Islanders tops in the Southland in sacrifice bunts, but they're 9th in home runs, only 21 on the year. It feels like Aiden Robbins has hit 21 himself over the past couple of weeks. Foul tip strike, and it's 2-2 to Kate Sanchez. Second time the Islanders playing a team out of the SEC, third time playing a Power 4 program, and actually have a P4 win. Way back in February against Pitt out of the ACC. That's rolled foul. The count remains 2-2. And also the third time playing a ranked opponent. I've also played the Aggies at the time UTSA, 25th in the country when they played. Later in the year, the Islanders beat a very good Roadrunners team back at home.
Yeah, this is a team that has its ups and downs, but they have those bright moments as well. So you start to see the competition that they go up against all the time, and you get to find out a lot about your team as far as competing.
And Sanchez, a base hit out in the left. Back-to-back singles starts the game here for Texas A&M Corpus.
Coach Malone has to be very happy with the start, getting his first two guys on. This is a great swing right here because he stayed down on a breaking ball and was able to flip it into left field for a base knock. We talked about it. He's going to put the ball in play. 366. You know he's going to be up there swinging.
We talked about the bunt game here for Corpus. Now, Jackson Smith, one of the better hitters. Do you take the bat out of his hands here?
I personally would not, but Coach Malone's trying to get some runs on the board.
Not showing, and takes a strike here from Michael Winter. Senior out of Owasso, Oklahoma. One of the better run producers on the team here for the Islanders. 2 on and nobody out. And that'll leave with the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, we did see Michael Winter for an inning against the Aggies this past weekend. Before that, his previous appearance, you have to go all the way back to March the 8th against South Carolina Upstate.
The one thing that I know that Max Wiener and Coach Schlossnagle wants to see is guys filling up the strike zone. They can live with the hits. They just can't live with the walk. So if you're going to go out there and attack the strike zone, Winter's still trying to figure his pitch sequence out, release point, being out, trying to build himself back up. It is important for him to follow through and make sure he competes at every pitch.
And that's going to load the bases. The first 3 of the inning reaching here for A&M Corpus.
Now we get to see what this young man is made of. See if he can get himself out of this situation.
And he's up against Jarrett Flagger, who we just talked about over the weekend against Hammond, Louisiana. Found his swing. No homers in his first 89 at-bats of the year, and then homered 3 times in the last 7 at-bats of that series. And there's a ball from Winter. I thought that was a called strike, but no. Called ball from Ronnie Teague. And the count 1-0 to Flagger.
When you talk about those home runs and the numbers that he was able to put up, that's seeing the ball really, really well.
That'll leave the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 homers came in Sunday's finale for Flagger. A game that the Lions again won to clinch that series, and as a result, A&M Corpus now 5-12 in Southland play. They're in last place. It's not a conference in which everybody qualifies. Have to get to the top 8 to reach the Southland tournament. Into center, and Robbins will watch that bounce in front of him for a hit. And that's going to score 1 run, maybe 2, and it does. A 2-run single for Jarrett Flagger brings in Reynolds and Sanchez, and the Islanders draw first blood.
We talked about seeing the ball well, and when pitchers get behind in counts, it gives the batters an opportunity to have that leverage. Another breaking ball that seemed to stay up, and he was able to shoot that ball into right center field to drive in 2 runs.
And Coach Schloss will come out to the mound here with Winter laboring in this first inning. First 4 batters have reached, 3 hits and a walk, and that's going to be it for Winter.
Yeah, this is not ideal for what you wanted to see on a Tuesday night here at Disch Falk Field.
So Winter heading over to the Longhorns dugout. His night is done after facing 4 batters. We anticipated this could be a Johnny Allstaff type of game, and at least for the Longhorns so far, that appears to be the case. As we look at Coach Jim Schlossnagle, second year at Texas, 25th year overall. Over 1,000 wins in his career, 10th among active coaches at the Division I level, and a 2-time National Coach of the Year.
Pretty special. Knows what he's doing on in that dugout, you know. You start to look at the history of him and what he's been able to achieve. These are going to be some challenging times right now, especially a day like today. It's early. We're not going to try to go crazy about it right now, but one thing that you have to be able to do, and we talked about it, you got to be able to throw strikes and get ahead in counts so these batters don't have the leverage at that time.
Max Grubbs into the game now for Texas with A&M Corpus on top 2-0, and still nobody out. Grubbs, the senior out of Arlington, 2-0 record on the year, ERA right around 3.5 and 22+ innings. Good strikeout numbers. 23 on the year for the mustache right-hander. Saw him a couple of times in the A&M series in both games, Friday and Saturday. So this is third straight game to appear in. And actually, you go back to the midweek game last week against Incarnate Word. This is fourth straight appearance now for Texas.
And he's somebody that they lean on often. Texas leans on Max Grubbs often because of his experience. He, to me, was almost the MVP of last year's team. When guys were going down, he was the one that would always pick up the ball and be able to throw strikes, and that is exactly what Coach Schlossnagle and Max Weiner are hoping that he can do right now.
We talked a lot about the series up in College Station this past weekend. The Longhorns pitching staff has been so good all year long. Ran into a very good Aggie lineup, and you look at the numbers and inflated this past weekend for Texas at Bluebell Park.
Yeah, it was something that, again, you have to go back and reevaluate and check out those numbers. Max Weiner has been able to get this team going and getting that bullpen in the right spot. But right now, you look at what happened in those 2 games, it can change your ERA real quick.
Season ERA around 3.5, averaging more than 3 strikeouts per walk, but those numbers did not go their way this past Friday and Saturday at A&M. After Asmar, a swing and a miss, strike 1 to the Islander catcher.
Coming out being aggressive, thinking that, oh, he's going to come in with a fastball. He doesn't want to get behind. And then all of a sudden, give him the breaking ball.
There's a bunt put down, and Grubbs' only play at first is made, and the Longhorns get their first out of the inning. Took them about 8 minutes to get it. But, again, a productive out on the sacrifice. Now runners at second and third.
He did exactly what he wanted to do, move the guys up. But Texas did exactly what they needed to do, and that is to get an out to kind of slow down this momentum that the Corpus Christi Islanders have been able to establish.
6th batter of the inning comes up now, Max Tauchik for A&M Corpus. A swing and a miss, and Grubb starts him off with a strike. We had a chance to visit with Scott Malone, Islanders head coach, before the game in terms of what they want to get out of this tonight. Simply wanted to see his team compete. Leave it all out there.
And that's the type of coach that he is. He was one of those guys that loves to compete. One heck of a player, and we'll talk about him a little bit later. But you start to understand that, hey, guys, we have nothing to lose. Come out here and just play as hard as you can and get things going.
He actually planted 2 scenarios in our heads when we talked to him the other day. As that ball's hit pretty well to left field, and Anthony Pack Jr. going back, and that's going to go foul. Long strike 2 there to Tauchik. So the 2 options that were presented to Scott Malone in this hypothetical: would you rather win the series against McNeese this weekend or beat Texas on Tuesday? And he said, I'll be honest, I'd rather win the series against the Cowboys. However, admit it, you win this game, and at the grocery store in October, you're still going to be hearing about it.
No doubt about it. And that's the irony of how this is all playing out for this team. They know what Texas is as a national baseball team, but this is the state of Texas. And when you get those types of competitive juices going, you definitely want to get this thing started. You're up 2-0, and now you're looking at things a little bit differently by putting your foot on the gas and seeing what happens next.
0-2 to Townchick. A bigger miss there from Grubbs. Smothered by Tenney behind the plate. We talked so much about Carson Tenney and his power, and trust me, we'll dive into more of that later on tonight. But defensively, too, has been great behind the plate this year for Texas.
He's tough as nails, and as you mentioned, I mean, that was a great block right there to keep the runners at bay, and that is something that he's done a really good job with this year, throwing guys out as well.
That ball over the shift into left for another Islander base hit. 1 run comes in. Here's a trail runner, Flaggart, and he will score. The throw is cut off to make it 4-0 A&M Corpus.
Being aggressive. The one thing that I will say is Texas is leaving a lot of pitches elevated. And you cannot live up there no matter who you're playing against. The ball's going to be up in the strike zone. You're guaranteed to see that ball get hit. And that one went right over the heart of the plate. Great swing, down and through it, flipped it in the left.
So a pair of 2-run base hits for A&M Corpus has given them a 4-0 lead. Still only 1 out. Now Carson Croca with a bouncing ball to first. The play at first for 1. The throw to second, not in time, as the tag needed to be applied after the out at first. And now there's 2 outs.
Smart play, get the out. The ball hung up in the air, and Larson was able to get the ball. Step on the bag and make a strong throw. You never know. He might have popped up on that slide and was right there to make the tag.
Now it's Austin Russell. Had a hand, 1 ball and no strikes here against Max Grubbs, senior out of Flower Mound, Texas. Did not start in any of the games over the weekend against Southeast Louisiana. This only his 21st start of the year. In fact, he only had 1 at-bat in that series against the Lions in that Southland series. On the ground and through the right side for another hit. Townchick around third. He's coming to the plate, and that is a 5-0 start for A&M Corpus Christi.
Great piece of hitting right there. He hit through the shift in a routine situation. That's a ground ball to the second baseman. Second baseman Mendoza's playing behind the bag. As you can see, more to the left side of the infield. And all he did was get a ball and hit it right to where the second baseman normally would be playing. Taking what they can give him.
And now the 9th batter of the inning comes up here for the Islanders, Christian Smith-Johnson. Swing and a miss, strike 1, and that's been something that's frustrating if you're Coach Weiner and Coach Schlossnagle in Texas right now. Winter and Grubbs have gotten ahead of these hitters, just not able to put them away.
And that is the biggest thing. You hit the nail on the head. You got to be able to put guys away when you're ahead of them. Don't give them any life. Don't pick around. Make sure you have shut down innings.
Got him swinging. Smith-Johnson down on 3 pitches. But what a first for the visitors out of Corpus Christi. Islanders scoring 5 in the first inning. Longhorns trying to respond when we come back. before the Longhorns come up to bat for the first time of the game, they trail 5-0 after a huge top of the inning for A&M Corpus Christi. But now the Longhorns get to bat, and certainly centered in that lineup is Aidan Robbins, who's been on a tear as of late for Texas. Let's take you back to this past weekend in College Station.
When you start to look at where these pitches are located, you see that ball was off the plate, and he was able to drive it into left center. Right center, excuse me. Then he gets a hanging breaking ball, and he does not miss it, and he hits that one to straightaway center. But he's not done. Got a hanging curveball and absolutely annihilated the baseball. But wait a minute, there's more, and he got another opportunity. This young man is seeing the ball very well. His swing pattern is on point, and Texas is going to need that to turn this around to be able to close the gap on this Texas A&M Corpus Christi lead, 5-0.
And Robbins up to 15 homers now in the year, top 10 in the country. You see that hitter's box in the zone you'll see sometimes, and there'll be boxes that are red and some that are blue. Well, right now for Aidan Robbins, that entire thing is red. Matthew Molina on the mound tonight for A&M Corpus Christi was not the scheduled starter before we got here to Austin. The Islanders were going to go a different direction. In fact, initially it was going to be Pierre Lujac that was going to start today for A&M Corpus, but a late scratch. So here is Matthew Molina, the junior out of Alice, Texas. And how about Molina? Your offense before you step on the mountaintop gives you 5 runs.
You should be able to go out there and throw relaxed, at ease, and be able to try to pound the strike zone. The only way that Texas can hurt you is if you start giving up free passes.
And we have a violation here against Molina. Maybe in for a lack of eye contact with the hitter here, Mendoza, or the pitch clock expired. But now it's a 1-0 count before he's thrown a pitch.
That's one way to get ahead if you're Mendoza.
Yeah. Now ahead 2-0. Mendoza second on the team in hits. The junior out of Bedford, Texas. Former Arizona State Sun Devil, but it was always his dream to play for the Longhorns.
He's another one that can get hot and really show some power here at the University of Texas. He had a great season last year, dealt with some injuries, but played through them all. And now he's getting that opportunity to lead this team at the top of the lineup.
Seem to recall hearing the story that Jim Schlossnagle wanted him at A&M, but turned him down because he said, "I want to be a Longhorn." Well, guess what? Coach Schloss got the Texas job, and now you are a Longhorn. Draws a walk to start the inning here for Texas, and that'll bring up Carson Tenney for the Longhorns. And we have talked about Aidan Robbins at length for good reason, on a tear right now, but Carson Tenney, too, is seeing the ball very well.
Carson Tenney, another guy that can hit the ball to all parts of the ballpark. The one thing that he did early in the year, he was taking a lot of pitches. And when you talk to Coach Schlossnagle, he was like, "That's good, you're showing a good eye, but we want you to swing the bat and show us that swing and that power," and that's what he's been able to do here lately.
You see that number right there, and that displays his patience at the plate. Top 10 of the SEC in walks drawn. Feels like every time you look up, he's found his way into first base. Power is also there, 9th in the conference in homers with 12. Can't even hear from Molina, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, you talked about him earlier behind the plate and what he's been able to do with this pitching staff, been able to cut down runners, but the true power comes at the plate and what he's been able to do with runners in scoring position. But of course, being able to be selective at the plate is important for him.
Scott Malone wanted to see his pitchers avoid nibbling and go right after the strike zone tonight. Seeing a lot of nibbling right now, though, from Molina.
And again, it goes back to what you had mentioned just a little while ago. This is a guy, Molina, who has a 5-run lead. You don't want to walk a lot of guys, and you don't want to put a lot of them on when you got a guy like Robbins coming up next.
And he'll come up now. Actually, no, it's a called strike, and the throw to second. Dribbles it to center field, and Mendoza will take third. A pitch to the top of the zone. Called strike to Teddy, but Mendoza steals second and takes 90 more feet on the throw into the outfield.
Great jump there early in the count, 3-1. He wanted to make sure that he got a good jump. He did. Tenney took a fastball on the outer third. Thought it was a ball and almost stepped into the catcher. Was close to catcher's interference, but he was able to get in the second and on the bad throw got to third.
And Teddy hit by a pitch on a full count, and he is not happy about it.
Ball just kept running in on Molina, and it just kept running in on Carson Tenney and got him on that back forearm. That's going to leave a mark. Might want to check the ball, though, because with them forearms that Tenney's got, it might have put a dent in the baseball.
So 2 on, and nobody out for Aiden Robbins, one of the hottest hitters in the country. Back-to-back 2-homer games against Texas A&M. You see that average of 358. It has not been below 341 since February 20th. We were still in the middle of conference basketball play. Forget postseason tournaments or March Madness.
Now, this guy has been fun to watch if you're a Texas Longhorn fan. He's excited to be playing here at the University of Texas, but more importantly, he's excited to be playing in front of all the fans. I saw an interview with him earlier this year, and he was asked, how many fans did you play in front of? He said, besides family and friends, maybe 50. And now you get a chance to play in front of big crowds in the SEC and get challenged a little bit more, and he's answered the bell every time.
There's lines of 50 in the concession stands in the SEC. As Robbins takes ball 1. '86-degree Tuesday nights, a little muggy outside. With the Longhorns at home this year are 19-2. In tight, Robbins has to dart out of the way.
Woo.
If he was sleepy before, he certainly isn't now.
That's one way to get woken up real quick.
Some big misses here from Molina in the first inning with the 5-0 lead. And that'll fill the count, and Tenney takes off for second. So now second and third for the Horns with no one out.
Still being aggressive on the bases. Good read, ball in the dirt. Walked into second base.
Waiting on deck, the talented freshman Anthony Pack Jr. Full count to Robbins. And a swing and a miss. Got him on a breaking ball off the plates. And Molina gets his first out of the inning.
That's two things right there. Aggressiveness by Robbins, but a great pitch location with the base open. Didn't want to give in to him, and the ball just kept tailing down right off the top. Got him out of his character.
And at the first out of the inning brings up Anthony Pack Jr. Third highest OPS on the team. That ball hit towards center field, and the catch is made by Smith Johnson. It is a productive out as Mendoza comes home to score. And the Longhorns are on the board on the second out of the inning.
Another great swing by Anthony Pack Jr. You talked about his accolades and how he's been able to swing the bat. He got a ball up early in the count and hit a line drive to the center fielder, but was able to drive in Mendoza for a sacrifice fly.
Runner at second, 2 out for Timo Becerra. Former Stanford Cardinal steps in here for Texas. Comes into the game running a 13-game on-base streak, tied for the longest streak on the team. See those home runs for Becerra. 5 may not seem like a lot, but he was not a home run hitter by any stretch at Stanford before coming to Austin. Had 2 homers his entire Stanford career and wound up hitting 3 into the Crawford boxes in Houston at Daikon Park earlier this season.
A lot of guys have come here and put up career numbers in a short period of time. And a lot of folks are going to talk about the Tulowitzki effect and what he's been able to do working with these guys. But a lot of that, too, is understanding where and when you can drive the baseball and being selective. And that might be from the conversations that they've been having in the cages.
Froze him on the breaking ball. Becerra looking at strike 3. 1 inning in, and the Islanders lead by 4 as we go to the second. It's 5-1, Texas A&M Corpus. That the Islanders made in the first inning, tagging Longhorn pitching for 5 runs to get this game underway.
If you look at all of those pitches, you can tell that they were all elevated. Not very many of them were fastballs either. They got the breaking ball. They must be seeing something, but the balls are elevated except for that base hit to right field. That is something that Texas has to work on, making sure that they keep the ball down.
And the Longhorns already on their 3rd pitcher of the game, Cade Bing. And now for Texas, the left-hander out of West Texas, formerly from McLennan Community College. Longhorns threw Michael Winter to start the game. Winter did not record an out, gave up 4 earned runs. Max Grubbs finished the inning, gave up a run of his own. Longhorns were able to get a run back in the bottom of the first. The trail by 4 as we go to the top of the second. And coming up, the top of the order for the Islanders as they sent all 9 to the plate in the first inning. And this is Jaden Reynolds, started the night with that single to center field and later scored.
Wow, where was that pitch at? It's like, whew.
Called strike, 1-1 to Jaden Reynolds. Either team that comes in 3 games under 500. But a tip pops it up and it's into the seats.
Got to make a play. You're going to be in the seats, you got to make a play.
Reynolds coming off a 1-for-14 series against Southeast Louisiana this past weekend. Fouls that one away. Anthony Pack on the run. We'll watch that become another souvenir. So again, the Islanders, big series coming up at home as they wrap up this 6-game road swing. They go home to Corpus to take on McNeese in a 3-game Southland series. Just 2 midweek games left for the Islanders. A couple of weeks from now, they go to San Marcos, not far from here, to take on Texas State. Play their final midweek game early in May at Houston in the Big 12. Speaking of Texas State, the last time that the Longhorns overcame a 5-run deficit as Reynolds pokes his second base into the game at his center field. Another leadoff base hit for the Islanders, and Reynolds on for the second time.
Another solid, short, compact swing. Got a ball, hit it hard up the middle, and he's being very consistent. Didn't try to do too much with it. Got something he can handle. Strong base knock up the middle.
Brings up Cade Sanchez. Talked about him earlier in his first at-bat as Scott Malone calls for an offensive timeout here. And look at a year ago for Sanchez to this season, 21 fewer games to this point, hitting 122 points better. Home run total is the same despite fewer games played. And this is a player whose graph is rising in this Islander lineup. He'll come up now with a pinch runner coming in at first base for A&M Corpus Christi. Reynolds, after his 2 hits to start the game, is out. Matt Evans in now over at first base.
Trying to build his confidence and keep him hot right there. Get a couple base hits, short and compact. He's like, okay, go ahead and hit the showers, buddy.
Look back to first, and they nearly got him. Nearly got Evans leaning.
And that wouldn't have been fun. Would have been short-lived for coming in there and getting picked right away. Coach Malone would have had a real good conversation with him. Good move by Bing.
Hard to the plate and a strike. Let's take you back to Jaden Reynolds after he got the base hit here. Coming out of the box, something was off.
Coming up ginger, running the bases.
And as we've talked about, if you're the A&M Corpus, you're not in at-large territory right now. You have bigger games ahead in Southland play, so health of your team is paramount in a game like this.
Absolutely, and that's why you didn't see any hesitation right away. He saw him coming up a little lame and was able to get him out right away.
Called strike. It is 0-2 to Sanchez.
This is what they like to call a shutdown inning. This is something that they need to get their team back in the dugout to be able to try to chip away at this 4-run lead.
Ground ball to third. Play at second for 1 and a first, and around the horn, the Longhorns go for a 5-4-3 double play, their 21st of the year.
That's fundamental baseball right there. You talked about it going around the horn. Casey Borber making a strong throw to Ethan Mendoza. And if you can look at this transfer, look how quick he gets that ball out of his glove, make a strong throw to first base. Textbook for the Texas Longhorns.
1 pitch and 2 outs. Space is empty now for Jackson Smith, the Islander DH. A strike here from Bing. In his second year at Texas, Cade Bing, 12 appearances a year ago, was 3-0 and 40 innings worked. Much lighter workload this year. Only his 5th appearance of the season. And the call is that Smith was able to check his swing. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the leaders of the Islanders here, Jackson Smith. Coach Malone spoke very highly of him as a leader, somebody that can get the message across to the baseball team and keep morale up.
Fly ball out towards left, packed towards the line, and able to make the catch, reaching into the first row of the seats. Anthony Pack Jr. played at a high school without a outfield fence, makes a catch deep and left here, running into the fence. And with that, the inning ends for A&M Corpus. We go to the bottom of the second. It's 5-1, Islanders on top. WFCU Dish Falk Field. 5-1 A&M Corpus on top. Islanders with a 5-run first inning. Longhorns keeping them scoreless. In the top of the second with some good infield and outfield defense.
That was something that needed to happen for the Texas Longhorns. I said it earlier, a shutdown inning gives them a chance to come back and try to chip away at this lead that the Islanders have in the top of the second, bottom of the second, excuse me.
Casey Borbert leading off here in the inning for Texas, the junior out of Santa Ana, California. Coming off a really tough series against the Aggies over the weekend. This ball is popped up, could be playable for Russell, and it is, and he's got it for the first out. The struggles continue for Borba. He was 0 for 9 against the Aggies, struck out 7 times. You go back to April the 2nd, just 12 days ago, his average has gone down 42 points.
Yeah, that is a tough time at the plate, but if I know anything about Casey, he's going to continue to work to try to get that thing going. It's all about rhythm and timing, and right now his is just happens to be a little bit off.
Now Ashton Larson here for the Horns. First at bat against Molina, his second inning of work. And Molina looked pretty good in the first inning for the Islanders. Struck out a couple, only gave up a run despite allowing a walk and a hit batter to start the frame off. And so he's being rewarded with another inning of work. Thought we might see one guy per inning tonight from Scott Malone. This ball driven to center by Larson. The catch not made by Smith Johnson. Drops it with the fans watching there from left center. And Larson is on at second base with one out.
It looked like he had a great jump in center field. You got to see the strides out there, and he had a great jump going to the ball. Headed towards that left center field wall and came up a little bit short. Looked like it might have hit his glove and fell out of that, but he was flying into that gap to go get that ball. Might have taken his eyes off of it just a little bit.
It is a double for Larson. And that'll lead to a mound visit here for A&M Corpus Christi. Scott Malone talking to his young pitcher out there.
Giving him some encouragement, letting him know that's a great pitch. We almost made a great play in the outfield. Don't get down. Don't worry about it. Go back out there and get on to the next play.
A lot of Longhorn fans wanted the game to be played on Sunday, salvage a game of the series and beat the rival Aggies. Well, Scott Malone also wanted to see the game played and preferably see Texas win too. Use up some arms and maybe come in a little bit overconfident. But despite all that, they didn't play, and his team is up 5-1. As Livingston in the DH spot takes ball one from Molina.
Yeah, credit to the Islanders because of the way that they've approached this plate appearance. Every time you look at it, you see their very short and compact swings. They're putting the ball in play. They're hitting the ball hard up the middle and not giving away at-bats. And that is something that Coach Malone spoke with us about. He said, I just want my guys to come in here and compete. You're going to see good arms. You're going to see some tough pitches, but just go in there and battle, and that's what they've been able to do early.
Two and one to Livingston. And it is a long bus drive from Hammond, Louisiana to Corpus Christi, Texas. Most teams in the Southland travel by bus. And you figure you do a lot of thinking, a lot of sleeping when you take a long bus ride like that, looking back at film, swing and a miss here, strike two. Scott Malone was watching 28 weeks later.
That bothered me. You know what I'm saying? Because you're riding on this bus and you're looking at all this goriness and trying to figure out, oh, he said he was jumping in his seat every once in a while. And I was like, why are you watching that?
Just out of play there for Tauchik. And by the way, a defensive change in the outfield for the Islanders after Jaden Reynolds left following his base hit in the top of this inning. Reynolds out of the game. Tauchik now in left field, and Matt Evans, who came in to run for Reynolds, is in right here for the Islanders. But I guess there's something to be said, Harge, about maybe taking your mind off the game for a little bit, escaping. It's a long season, a marathon, not a sprint. Those bus rides can get very long.
As I know.
Yeah.
As I know. But, yeah, I mean, it does take your mind away from what just happened and try to redirect your energy in those moments. So I get it. You got time that you want to do some different things, but I'm just not one for all the gore in the movies on the bus ride with a bunch of people on it.
So
in those back roads.
So it wasn't necessarily he was watching a movie. It was 28 weeks later, and say not something a little more Step Brothers like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't think he wanted to laugh that much.
That's the third strikeout for Molina. Livingston goes down swinging. And right now it's been that breaking ball that's gotten these Longhorn hitters.
Yeah, and they're getting opportunities early in the count with some good pitches, but to your point, the ball's just dropping off the table and dropping away from the hitters, and he's just swinging over it.
Second out of the inning, Molina trying to work around the double hit by Larson. And now Darian Pendergrass up at the plate here for Texas. The senior out of Hartsville, South Carolina. This his first at-bat of the year. He's only appeared in 5 games all season. Jaden Duplantier getting the night off tonight for Texas. And Pendergrass getting the start in right field.
I'm glad to see him getting an opportunity to play. Most of the time when he's come into the games, he's been used as a pinch runner, trying to steal a bag or something like that. Now he's getting his chance to have some plate appearances, and I know that he's been working towards this. He was another guy that came in through the transfer portal to the University of Texas and was expected to be in there to compete early, but I think he was dealing with some injuries, and now he's getting his chance to be back out there.
Transfer from the College of Charleston. Give me over strike from Molina. No, it's a called ball, and a fastball that just misses. A 4-pitch walk. 2 on, and the inning extends now to the top of the order to Ethan Mendoza.
Got a chance to watch Ethan Mendoza in batting practice today, and he was really working on driving the ball from gap to gap, and every once in a while there will be a ball that comes inside, and he's able to shoot it over there into that Yeti yard, and this is one of those moments that if he gets something he can handle, you might see him try to jump the gate here.
2 on, 2 out for Mendoza. Strike 1 from Molina. Mendoza walked in his first at-bat. Later came home with a sac fly from Pack Jr. Dating back to last year, Texas in midweek games, a record of 15-4. In fact, for Coach Schlossnagle, he's won 30 of his last 35 midweek games. And of the wins they have this year in the midweeks, 4 of them run rule victories, including the win over UIW last week. But their hands full right now, down 5-1.
This is something that they've talked about, being able to show that they have that type of ability.
That slicing foul.
To battle back in some of those games. Being down, they never feel like they're out of the ball game. I've been here when they've come from behind in big moments, walking off certain teams, and I've seen home runs being hit. But there's one thing that you mentioned about Tuesday nights. You know, this is something that midweek games across the country are difficult for a lot of big teams. And what you want to do is try to find that model of consistency on the mound and at the plate leading into the weekend.
0-2 to Mendoza. Fires off another pitch. In fact, there's been a movement in the past few years. Some of these teams that are in position for at-large bids are backing out of midweek games, canceling them so their RPI isn't negatively affected. That's become a point of contention in college baseball.
Yeah, and I've always wondered about that, you know, because obviously it's scheduled, and you want to make sure that you get those games played, because not only is it something that you're trying to avoid, but it's also something that may help that other team get in.
Swing and a miss. Mendoza, another strikeout. This time got him on a high fastball. Matthew Molina, 2 innings, 4 punch-outs, and just 1 run given up. notes around the SEC this past weekend. The Razorbacks went into Tuscaloosa and swept Alabama for the first time in 11 years at an Alabama team. The Horns play this weekend. How about Tennessee? The Vols, another sweep, back-to-back road sweeps against Mississippi State for the first time in program history. And on top of all that, of course, as we know, the Longhorns, they got swept in a 2-game series against Texas A&M. The final game, of course, rained out. The Aggie Bats, 10 extra base hits, outscoring the Horns 20-11 in those 2 games.
Yeah, it wasn't a good weekend in College Station. You start to think about the weather delays that were happening, but more importantly, the inconsistent approach at the plate, whether it was on the mound or as a hitter. Texas struggled this past weekend, and now they have to try to find a way to get things going once again.
Again, the Longhorns losing a series for the first time all year. That's life in the SEC. It is really hard to go every weekend and come out a winner.
You just saw the graphic. I mean, there are certain teams that you go into the weekend, you weren't expecting Tennessee to sweep Mississippi State. And so you get a chance to see it week in and week out. And top to bottom, there's teams that could upset you easily.
Jarrett Flaggart leading off for the Islanders here in the third. Had one of the two-run singles for Corpus back in a 5-run first inning. On top here, 5-1, swing and a miss, going after a high fastball there from Cade Bing. Did mention that Texas, last time they came back from a deficit of 5 runs or more, about a year ago to the day, April 22nd, 2025, on the road against Texas State. Fly ball out towards center field. Robbins on the run. Robbins looks, and he is out of room. That is gone. Jarrett Flaggart, no homers in his first 89 at-bats of the year, just hit his 4th over his last 8.
That ball was absolutely crushed to left center field. You can look at the flags and say that the wind is kind of pushing it out. No, that ball was hit and hit with authority. Long drive out to left center field. And as you mentioned, you start to look at this young man and what he's been able to do in these last few at-bats. As we talked about, Coach Malone wants this guy to stay hot and take that into the weekend.
4th homer of the year for Flaggart. If you had told him a week ago today, hey man, guess what? 7 days from now, I know you have 0, you're gonna have 4 of them, all on the road. And he would have absolutely loved to hear that. And he's made it a reality here.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power. That ball was hit to left center field and over the Yeti yard. It wasn't into the Yeti yard. It was over the ball in the gap. Wow, what a swing.
And again, this is not a team built on the home run ball. It's just the 22nd of the year for this A&M Corpus Christi team. 4 in the last 9 ABs officially. None of the previous 89 of the season.
Wow.
Some guys find their swing. Doesn't always happen at the beginning of the year.
Well, it's like you talked about. Find your swing, kid, and be able to get hot and stay hot. As we talked about, he's seeing the ball. You can tell he's seeing the ball well. His previous at-bat, he drove in 2 runs with a hard base hit. So he's not missing when they're making that mistake.
After the Flaggart homer, Hunter Asmar draws a walk. Longhorn bullpen active again here as Bing is laboring through the 3rd. There's Tauchik, had one of those 2-run base hits. Was able to single through the right side, opposite of the shift, bringing in a couple of runs. And time is called here for Texas.
Max Weiner going out to the mound to kind of find out what's going on, try to settle everybody back in.
You look at the score now, you remember what happened this past weekend, and certainly it's been a struggle for the staff, but the impact that Max Weiner has had here at Texas has been remarkable. And you look here at the deficit, and this is the 4th time this year the Longhorns have trailed by 5 or more. One of those instances this past weekend against the Aggies that series opening loss against the Gamecocks and a surprising midweek loss at home against the Texans out of the WAC.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. As we mentioned, you start to look at those Tuesday games, but more importantly, you look at what happened on Saturday against Texas A&M, and now Texas A&M Corpus Christi has come in and brought the fight to the Texas Longhorns.
On the ground is Shorts, and the play to second for one, and the turn to first in time as Becerra goes to Mendoza to Larson for the Longhorns' second twin killing of the game.
As we talked about a little while ago, you start to look at how to make things look routine. Perfect ground ball to the shortstop, Becerra making a nice toss to Mendoza and a strong throw to Larson. I guess Max Weiner going out, the conversation worked.
Clearly it did. Go out there, get me a ground ball, and we'll get you 2 outs. Now Carson Croca. Strike one here from Cade Bing. Croca, player hailing out of the greater DFW area. Falls behind against Bing, 0-2.
Throw that barrel quickly to try to get out of the way.
Lays off the high fastball, 1-2 here to Croca. Began his career at Tarleton State. Then the JUCO routes, and now in year 3 as an Islander, playing in the Southland Conference. Croca lines that in the glove of Ethan Mendoza. Nice snag before the ball crept into the outfield. However, the Islanders on top by 5 once again. Jarrett Flaggard got something going right now. 4th home run in his last 9 at-bats. And A&M Corpus leads on the road here at UFCU Disch-Falk 6-1 and looking for an upset. Christie leading on the road against number 4 Texas 6-1 at UFCU Disch-Falk Field. Brant Freeman alongside Mike Harge, and now we're joined by Islanders head coach Scott Malone in his 19th season. This program has had only 3 head coaches, and Coach Malone the longest tenured. More than 450 wins in his career. And Coach, look at the scoreboard, man. You got to be feeling really good right now. How about the way your team's approached this game?
Oh, it's been great. Obviously, they were a hair shaky from the jump, and I thought we jumped on them. You know, that's when they left the door open a little bit in the first inning, and we came through and knocked that thing down. So Matt Molina's taken me to the edge. I've had 1 foot out of the dugout to change pitchers, and I haven't gone all the way out there yet, but we're close. He's given us everything he's got.
That's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, Coach, and he's come out and he's competed, and that was one of the big things that you talked about you wanted to see from your team. Don't worry about who they are. Just come in there and attack, and that's what your team has done at the plate and on the mound.
Yeah, you know, here's a little inside baseball for you. Obviously, we were about to pull him in the first because I wanted strikes. We weren't getting strikes. I've got to get somebody else now that we've been through this lineup once, this is the real conversation we just had. I don't want strikes. I want stuff. I'm fine if he walks this guy. I'm fine if he hits the next guy. I want stuff. And you're seeing it right here. Like, I don't want the next guy in the pin because he's a strike thrower. I want stuff. I want to stay off the barrel.
Carson Tenney with a home run here for Texas, cuts into the lead to make it 6-2. And Coach, continuing our conversation, the coaching community is one that's very tight-knit, very small, and one that's very close. And we think about relationships, the one that you have with Longhorns head coach Jim Schlossnagle, just how much of an impact has he had on your career?
Man, we don't have enough time for me to tell the story. I try to be as fast as I can. I went to recruiting one day, and he had a list in front of him of young coaches, and he just stopped and he said, what do you think about working at UNLV? What do you think about being the recruiting coordinator? And he could have been talking Chinese to me, like, yeah, that sounds great. And he threw the list away, and he said, I'm calling the head coach right now, and I'm going to tell him you need to be the next guy. And I think 3 days later, I was on a flight out there, had an interview, and a week after that, I had the job. And he did that. He did that for me. I wouldn't be here today if he hadn't put his name on me.
That's an amazing story, and you're an amazing coach. And you coach with so much passion, and you understand what this game is all about. Your father was a high school baseball coach. You got a chance to play for him, and you kind of led those stories to the next generation. How important is it to you to be able to share the game of baseball with these young men?
Man, it's so much fun. Like, in it, some days I feel I'm about to be 55 in 2 days, and some days I feel it. But then other days I get to hang out with these guys and goof around. And you saw me take the leadoff hitter out. The guy's hit the 2 hardest balls he's hit all year. He didn't really want to play early. His back was bothering him, and I'm like, hey, man, give me 3 innings. Give me 3 innings. Okay, coach, I'll give you 3 innings. He gives me 1.5, and who hits a missile? Who hits a missile up the middle and says, yo, that's it, coach? And I'm joking, but it's such a different day, just trying to handle all the personalities and just how it is, and trying to keep it light, and I tell you, in this place with this crowd, I Schloss and Troy over there, I don't know how those guys do it, man. Like, so many eyeballs on you, so many eyeballs second-guessing every single decision. And, you look at score tonight, it's just baseball. It's just, we just shuffled the deck, and sometimes a weird card comes up. But man, I can't imagine what, that dugout, the pressure that's over there. I guarantee you, every hitter's walking up there trying to hit a 5-run home run and get them back in it. So just a weird night. It's a fun game.
Coach, if we could, we would have you on the entire game. This is tremendous, but you have a game to get back to. We'll let you go, and best of luck from here on out.
Guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
All right, that again, Islanders head coach Scott Malone. We talk a lot about conference realignment these days, and you and I were joking a bit that you look at the strength of the Big Ten, and everybody in the Big Ten that's ranked right now, they were former Pac-12 teams all on the West Coast. We could go back a little bit old school, the Southwest Conference days, and when Texas was in the SWC with teams in and around Texas and Arkansas. And Scott Malone himself, a Southwest Conference player, and not just a player, the player of the year twice at TCU.
Yeah, he's one heck of a ball player. I got a chance to play against Scott, and I know him well because of the Abilene area in which he grew up, and playing against him in tournaments as a high school player. But he is one heck of a guy. You can hear it, the passion about the game and what he brings to it every single day. You'd be crazy to not want to play for a guy like that, and what he's been able to do at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the longevity that he was able to have. You think about it. You look across the country. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that because everybody needs victories. Mm-hmm. But he's shaping lives, and I appreciate his passion for the game of baseball.
Draft pick of the Texas Rangers, spent some time in pro ball, then got into coaching, successful career since. More than 450 wins at A&M Corpus Christi. It's a program that isn't all that old. Started back in the early 2000s, and the baton was handed to Scott Malone around 2008, and here he's been ever since.
Yeah, unbelievable guy, and like we talked about, the passion that he has for the game of baseball is something that cannot be denied.
Full count to Anthony Pack. Drove in one of the 2 runs for the Horns back in the first inning. And the other we saw during the conversation with Coach Malone, the Carson Tenney leadoff home run, his 13th of the year. His bat stays hot. Pack pops this one up in the infield. Flagger makes the catch, just shy of making his way to the mound for the second out.
And that's one of the things, too. You talked about Carson Tenney and the home run. That was not your ordinary home run. That was majestic. It was a big boy home run. And you start to look at his power, and that's something that you and I were talking about before the telecast, is he's a guy that has to get it going. He's a guy that can't take a lot of pitches. We love it that he can get on base in certain situations, but there's times where you got to let it fly, and that's exactly what he was able to do right there.
Although I'm starting to think that these dugout interviews are just bad juju, right, for coaches. When their team is on the field and pitching, it seems inevitable somebody from the opposing team is getting a hit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's interesting, too, because you've been around this game for a long time, and we talk about, okay, are we going to get this coach on, or are we not going to get this coach on? And then all of a sudden they get on, and Scott did a great job. Coach Malone did a great job. He said, oh, just go out there and compete, give up a home run. But it was a solo. It didn't do much damage, and they still have the lead. So good stuff by him. But you're right. It is tough for these coaches during these interviews.
So far, Matthew Molina through 2 2/3 has 4 strikeouts, giving up the 2 runs on only 2 hits. The homer from Tenney and a double from Larson back in the second. Fouled away, and Becerra stays alive. Struck out against Molina, one of his strikeout victims back in the first inning. This ball is hit in the air towards shallow rights. Evans makes a sliding catch on the slick surface to end the inning as we go to the 4th. A 4-run game, but the Longhorns got a run back in the inning. Carson Tenney going deep for the 13th time this season. It traveled 416 feet and makes it a 6-2 game. On top 6-2 as we navigate to the 4th inning. These two programs meeting for the 33rd time ever. As you look at Carson Tenney, hit his 13th home run of the year in the bottom of the 3rd to make it a 4-run game. Longhorns lead the all-time series, decided advantage 26-6. A year ago, the Horns run ruled these Islanders in 8 innings, 15-5. But just 2 years ago, that was the last time A&M Corpus won in the series, winning 4-1 back in 2024.
I actually called that game in 2024, And that was one of those games that Coach Malone was talking about. He's like, hey, man, we're just going to come here and play some ball, see how it happens. Going to probably throw a bunch of pitchers again. And then all of a sudden they had an inning like they had in the first, and things kind of rolled for them, and they found a way to get it done.
In fact, it's a guy on deck. Christian Smith-Johnson had a big hit that night, a 3-run homer for the Islanders. And that's tough to say when you talk about a game from 2024, essentially 3 seasons ago, this one last year, the year prior, where you still have that player in today's college baseball.
No doubt.
On the outside corner, a called strike, and Austin Russell will have to go back and get his bat.
And did you notice that the shift is no more with Russell at the plate?
That is correct. Normal infield defense here for Texas. Russell had that RBI base hit against the shift back in the first inning, but here looks at strike 3 from Cade Bing. And that is his first strikeout since coming into the game in the second.
Battled his way back there to be able to get the strikeout. Nice looking pitch on the outer third. Good frame by Tenney, and he knew it right away.
Well, you said it right there. The frame job by Carson Tenney. He didn't pull that thumb up to bring the ball back over the plate. You're going to see Russell taking first base.
Exactly.
Yep.
And he stuck it right there and got him a chance to get strike 3.
Second strikeout for Longhorn pitching in the game as Smith-Johnson comes up here for A&M Corpus. As one would expect, a series in which Texas leads by 20 games, the run differential would be large. It's plus 185 in the series, including in 2008, which would have been Scott Malone's first year. Texas won a game that season 22-3.
Yikes.
Smith-Johnson with a bunt. Bing fields on a first, not in time. Cade Bing just took too long to field it and throw, and as a result, Smith-Johnson is on with 1 out.
Yeah, good hustle down the line, great bunt. To your point, you see him bounce off the mound, and it looked like he was going to get there, but the ball wouldn't come out of his glove right away, and he was able to hustle down the line. And if I'm reading what Coach Schlossnagle is thinking here, he's trying to make sure that he ran and touched the green base and not the white base on that bunt.
And we have our first challenge of the game. Call to field was that Smith-Johnson was safe. Now the crew taking a look at this now.
I think Smith-Johnson is kind of looking over there like, maybe I did touch the wrong base, but hopefully not. I told you he could run. He had good strides early, and it did look like he touched the white base. And in that situation, he is going to be called out because he's supposed to touch the green base in that situation. Well, I don't know. How do you call that? It looked like he touched both of them.
Yeah, you just said it. His cleat is dividing the bases here.
Wow. And that's what he's starting to look at right there. Coach Schlossnagle talking to the home plate umpire and explaining his case to Teague and being like, hey, he can't touch the middle of it, can he?
Now, the question of whether or not he beat the throw is pretty close as well, but you see his foot is touching right before Larson secures it. So it's not a matter right now if he beat the throw or not.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's all about foot placement, green or white. Interesting. Red pill, blue pill. Get caught up in the matrix.
Here's the crew with a call. Call stands. Smith-Johnson is safe. And so the bunt single is good for the 8th hit of the game. Islanders now out hitting Texas 8-2. As we go back to the top of the A&M Corpus order. And this is Matt Evans batting for the first time. Remember, Jaden Reynolds hitting top in the lineup for A&M Corpus came out of the game after his base hit in the second. Had a couple of scorchers, too. A couple of balls of his on his hits that traveled 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, he hit 2 rockets right back up the middle. And like I said before, you know, the swing was short and compact. Wasn't trying to do too much, just tried to get the barrel to it. And that's exactly what he did.
Evans to left field, and the catch is made on the run by Pack. Hustling out in left field to make it for the second out of the inning. And he's made some nice plays out in left field tonight.
As we talked about before, this is a guy that has played right field. He grew up playing center field, and now he's making those plays in left field. Ball's tailing away from him as the left-handed hitter is hitting it. The good thing about him is he is left-handed, so the ball played on his glove side.
2 outs in case Sanchez comes up now for the Islanders. 1 for 2. Hit into a double play back in the second. So we talked about this earlier. Anthony Pack Jr., extremely talented high school player. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. And high school stadiums are very different than what you're playing in the SEC. And they can vary from high school to high school. Well, for Anthony Pax, his had no outfield fence. I'm trying to envision this for a second. I'm wondering, how do you rule home runs there? But so Anthony Pack, again, played at a high school with no outfield fence.
I think you just run until you run until you run and try to figure out how to do it. Keep the ball in front of you, play as far back as you possibly can, and come in running. Yeah, like going to a city park.
So Anthony Pack talking with Aiden Robbins here as the Longhorns make a discussion, hold the discussion under their own, and that is to make a change on the mound. That's it for Cade Bing, new Longhorn pitcher coming in. We'll talk more about him when we come back.
Story about when a rolling tide clashed with baseball royalty.
Both games were just 2 heavyweights going at it.
An SEC storied film, Summer of '83, Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Summer of '83, Texas versus Tide is our next SEC storied. It premieres tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. It chronicles one of the most exciting College World Series ever, highlighted by Longhorns Roger Clemens and Calvin Schiraldi, the Crimson Tide's Dave Magadan, Arizona State's Barry Bonds, and Michigan's Barry Larkin. A loaded field in Omaha that year. And again, Texas playing Alabama this weekend here in Austin, all 3 games on SEC Network Plus. And they beat the Tide in the finals in Omaha to win the national championship. And that pitching staff was so good. Roger Clemens was not the ace of it, okay? Calvin Schiraldi was the most outstanding player. Roger was not at the top of the rotation. That's how deep the Longhorn staff was on the way to winning a national championship.
Spoiler alert, the Longhorns had great pitching. That was back in the day, and as a kid from the state of Texas, you knew all about that. You knew what it was like to be a Texas Longhorn pitcher and how tough those guys are. And you hit the nail on the head. Everybody thinks of Roger Clemens, but Calvin Schiraldi was pretty nasty himself.
Yeah. Hudson Hamilton Into the game here for Texas, replacing Cade Bing, the junior out of Spring, Texas. Swing and a miss as he faces Cade Sanchez here. Fourth pitcher the Longhorns have used. Last saw Hamilton against Incarnate Word last week, facing a Southland opponent then. Hitting in 2/3 against the Cardinals, struck out 3. This only his second appearance in the month of April. That's fouled back to run the count to 1-2. But we have seen him in some high leverage situations. You go back to the big weekend at Daikin Park in Houston. One of the big wins for the Horns then was over Coastal Carolina out of the Sun Belt, the team that played for the national championship last year. Hamilton, a scoreless inning against the Chanticleers with a couple of strikeouts at a very hitter-friendly park. As the count even was a 2-2, and that ball got away from Teddy. And now Smith Johnson takes second base.
That was a great effort by Tenney to try to keep that ball there. But the way he went down and kind of laid flat, it was tough for him to pop up to make a strong throw.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Sanchez. Top hitter in this lineup. It's a pitch inside to fill the count on a fastball at 95. Friday's series opener against 8th-ranked Alabama starts at 6:30. Saturday at 2, Sunday at 1. The two teams playing a 3-game series for the first time since 2022. Then a non-conference series as Sanchez grounds one back to Hamilton, and we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. A scoreless frame for A&M Corpus Christi, but still leading by 4 against number 4 Texas. How about the outing from Matthew Molina, done for the night after 3 impressive innings for A&M Corpus Christi?
You got a chance to hear from Coach Malone. He said he wanted to go out there and take them out after the first or in the middle of the first, but he was able to settle in and was able to go out there and really compete, and that was something that he wanted to see. Ended up getting 4 Ks with just 2 walks, an important inning for the coaches and for the Islanders.
And leaves the game with a 6-2 lead here for A&M Corpus. The ball now belongs to Bryson Shea. Shea, the sophomore out of Eagle, Idaho. Last pitch in the midweek game for the Islanders last week at Rice. Went 2 2/3 against the Owls and gave up 4 earned runs. And making his second appearance here in the month of April. Did not pitch in the Southeast Louisiana Series this past weekend. He'll face Borba, Larson, and Livingston for the Horns here in the 4th. Hitters 6, 7, and 8. We were just talking about the series looming for Texas this weekend against Alabama. The two have only played each other 12 times. Not a lot of crossover over the years, SEC and the Big 12 forever. Now, of course, the two playing in the same conference, there'll be more and more of that moving forward. Did play each other in an early season non-conference series 4 years ago. Before that, you have to go back to that World Series game in 1983 that determined the national champion, won by Texas 4-3. Longhorns also beat the Tide that year in Omaha in 10 innings, 6-4. So the Longhorns have won 11 of 12 all-time against Alabama. The only loss, I kid you not, you have to go 122 years ago. 1904, the only time Alabama has beaten Texas.
How long ago?
122 years ago.
Wow. I know I've been around for a while, but I don't think I was around for that one.
You know, I think the other analyst that works these games, Ty Harrington, may have been. Popped up by Borba. Behind the plate, Asmar. We'll watch that travel into the seats. Talked about Borba and the struggles he's been on as of late for Texas. And you look at his start to the year, the power's there, getting on base at a good rate, wasn't striking out a lot over the last 6 games though, but this happens in baseball. Every even tremendous hitter goes through stretches like this.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that you had mentioned earlier was the amount of strikeouts. And those are the one things, like you can struggle a little bit, but you don't want to have it by striking out. And then you get something like that that might be able to get you going. All you got to do is put it in play, and you get the ball hard, and good things happen.
So, leadoff base hit here for Borba. You saw Croker, the shortstop, trying to get there deep the hole at short. I think even if he fields it cleanly, that Borba's going to reach base.
Yeah, it would have definitely been a tough play for him to try to slide and come up and make a strong throw.
Well, and you mentioned just how hard it came off the bat and more than 100 miles an hour there for Borba. Now it's Larson with nobody out. By the way, I'm trying to find a box score for the 1904 game, and I can't find it.
I think it got kind of deteriorated when you tried to find it.
I have to look in some old scrolls to find that box score.
For a score.
It has been one of the fun things about the mood of this conference for Texas. All those great rivalries over the years, Southwest Conference, Big 12, yes. And now to see them play the likes of Mississippi State and Alabama, Arkansas once again, Vanderbilt, Georgia. It's some of the best, I say some of, the best baseball in the country played in the SEC. And it's been great to revisit some of those old classes from years past, times that Texas was meeting those programs in Omaha.
Yeah, it brings back some nostalgia to it. You mentioned it earlier when we were talking about Coach Malone playing in the Southwest Conference. Those are those times when those teams were battling like that, going to Omaha and getting to face the SEC champions. And you start to understand that baseball is played all over the country, but some of the best baseball is always in the South. And no matter where you're from, you know that coming down this way, you got to buckle up to play.
There are so many years, and we'll talk more about this looking at teams in the top 25 of the SEC. You'll see teams with losing records in the conference. And I would say losing, I mean 7 or 8 games under 500. They're at-large teams because that's how good the conference is. As Larson draws a walk, and the first 2 are on for Texas in the 4th against Bryson Shea.
Showing some patience there, not chasing out of the zone. Even early in the count, he was able to work it back into his favor and ended up getting a walk.
Anytime I hear the last name Shea in this game, think about Old Shea Stadium in New York and Queens, home of the Mets. And Chipper Jones for the Braves, who named his firstborn son Shea because he hit so well at that ballpark.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you sit back and you think about the careers and how some names are come about. And then, oh, well, what made you think of Shea? Well, I dominated when I was there, and they used to scream my name every time.
Well, at least Shea is a good name for his son.
Right. Not Comiskey.
Wrigley doesn't work as well. Or Fenway.
What's your son's name? Oh, Fenway Jones. Sounds like he's a character in a movie.
Longhorn DH Josh Livingston struck out against Molina. Back in the second. Now facing Shea for the first time. We've seen base runners for both teams early on in the game here. We've yet to see the bunt game.
We did one time early in the ball game when they made the sacrifice, but Texas trying to bounce back and trying to get some runs. I think they're trying to play for the big inning, which is why you're probably not seeing Livingston put the bunt down.
A good catch there as Livingston falls behind 1-2. Former Wichita State Shocker out of Prosper, Texas.
Looking at Livingston, I don't think he's bunted much in his life.
Yeah.
He seems to be one of those guys that's got some serious sock in the back.
We go back to his time at Crowder and at Wichita State. 54 home runs across 4 seasons there. Livingston drills that one to center, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Borba around third, coming to the plate. He'll get there without a throw, and it's a 6-3 game.
You build it, they will come. He hit an absolute seed into center field, being able to drive in Borba from second, and now they're sitting at first and third with nobody out. Here comes the horns.
That's going to get the bullpen busy. Here for the Islanders, Chandler Fowler getting loose. For A&M Corpus, as you see, Livingston driving in Borba. 2 singles, sandwiched around the walk. A run in and nobody outs, and that'll bring up Darian Pendergrass. And Jim Schlossnagle calling for an offensive timeout. Just wanted to visit with Pendergrass here, not the runners on base. And remember, Pendergrass, we talked about it earlier, had only been used as a pinch runner for Texas. This is his first start of the year. His first at-bat of the season was a walk in the second, and this is second one of 2026. Bat stays to the shoulders. He takes strike one. When you look back at his career, the College of Charleston, and a lot of good college baseball was played in South Carolina, as we know. And he was a good hitter for the Cougars. At 296 last year, drove in 37. First year playing college baseball, a 300 hitter. So there's talent that's been awaiting in that dugout for a while.
Just opportunities that you need, and now he's getting it. Coach Schloss came out to him after he squared around the bunt and told him, I want to see you swing the bat. Drive yourself a run in.
And he has a chance to do that here as Larson will tag from third and score. So Darian Pendergrass, welcome to the 40 acres. A walk and a sac fly, and now it's a 2-run game.
Great at bat right there, and being able to drive in that run. Feels good at the plate, and now he had an opportunity. So we'll see what ends up happening later in the game. Good swing right there.
And that the first out of the inning as we go back to the top of the lineup for Texas to Ethan Mendoza. A walk and a strikeout, his night so far.
With some power right here. Ethan Mendoza, 8 home runs. Continues to find a way to drive the ball through the ballpark.
2 balls, no strikes. Carson Tenney homered back in the third, awaits on deck. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-1 from Bryson Shea. Mendoza, a player that worked really hard over the offseason, feeling out his body, getting into better shape. As he fouls off this pitch, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's paid off. His power numbers have gone up this year. 8 homers this season, had 8 in his first 2 college years combined.
Yeah, he's another one that was showing a lot of power early in the season. When he's going well, he's driving that ball right there, not missing that and driving it into right center field. He's got a lot of power the other way. I think sometimes he gets so excited at the plate that he tries to yank the ball a little bit. He's really good when he's staying back and driving it the other way.
2-2, and Mendoza flares one, bounce towards right. Matt Evans able to track it down. And that will also keep Livingston at first base. That's good for the second out. That's going to bring up Carson Tenney. Last time he was up, he went out. Towering home run that traveled more than 410 feet out to left center field in the third inning.
You talk about light tower power. That's exactly what he displayed in that last home run. Got every bit of it, and it sounded like it was getting out of the ballpark as well.
Tenney drives this one out towards right field. That's deep, and that is off the wall. Just missed going yard for a second time. Livingston, though, around third, will score to make it 6-5 as Tenney comes through with 2 outs.
Told you I've seen him hit the ball all over the ballpark, but the most important thing, he's being aggressive early in the count. We talked about his walks, and we said, hey, we want you to start swinging the bat. He got a ball that was elevated, stayed inside of it, and just came short of hitting another home run in the game.
And Tenney showing you his opposite field power. A pull side home run to the third. Opposite field double here in the fourth. Let's see if Bryson Shea stays in here for the Islanders. Meeting on the mound here for A&M Corpus. It's now a 1-run game. Texas putting up 3 here in the 4th inning.
Big at bat right there by Tenney to kind of, as we talked about, keep chipping away, keep chipping away, keep chipping away. That's why you got to make sure that you're playing all 9 innings and never giving away at bats, and that's what they have been able to do.
There's a factor change here for the Islanders. Chandler Fowler in now for A&M Corpus, with the lead dwindling for the Islanders. The tying run at second base, and the Longhorns are still batting here in the 4th. Talked about Aiden Robbins earlier, how locked in he is. So is his teammate Carson Tenney. Powered all fields off that bat.
And not only that, not only is it coming off at 112 miles per hour, it's only have a launch angle of 16 degrees. Those balls are being scalded out of the ballpark, and they have not disappointed. You look at his home run today, It's out of you can't even see it. You know, that's how far this thing has been hit, and he's been able to drive the ball to all areas. It's been impressive.
That home run went over 416 feet. You talk about the leaders of the SEC in a very offensive conference on top of all the pitching. In terms of velo leaders, sandwiched between two Gators, he's second right now in the SEC.
You do not want to get in the front of that.
Tying run is Tenney at second base. His double chasing Bryson Shea out of the game. And now Chandler Fowler here for the Islanders. Righty from Jinx, Oklahoma. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. It feels like what Robbins has gotten tonight has been a healthy dose of breaking balls. I'm not sure he's seen many fastballs from any of the pitchers he's faced.
He has not, but he got one right there. He got a breaking ball right there that kind of hung, and that's why he was a little disappointed that he missed it, because he probably was sitting on it because of what you mentioned. He knows, too, that he hadn't seen a lot of hard stuff, and he just pulled off of it.
Off-speed pitch stays inside. Runs the count to 3-1 here from Chandler Fowler. Did make an appearance over the weekend in Hammond in Sunday's finale. Inning of work against the Lions, struck out 2. Now that's a walk to Robbins. He's on base for the first time. And that'll send up the 8th batter of the inning. Here for Texas, it is Anthony Pack. Anthony Pack, such a talented freshman. Extremely bright future for the Longhorns. This will be his 3rd official at-bat of the game. A sac fly in the first, driving in a run. And then popped up to third. Has also made some good catches out in left field. And talking more about Anthony Pack and the ability for players to hit all sides of the field. He's got a nearly even distribution here.
The beautiful part about it is this young man is a freshman. He doesn't even know what's wrong yet. You know, he hadn't had a chance to self-analyze, and once again, making big things happen in that 4-hole, not acting like a freshman.
That's a fair ball coming around third as Robbins to the plate, and he is out at home plate, says Ronnie Teague. The 3rd out of the inning, but the Longhorns have tied it on Anthony Pack's 2-out double. 6-6. Longhorns once down 5, and now we're all even heading into the 5th. The Longhorns, a 4-run 4th inning, tie the game at 6, but the final outs in the bottom of the 4th, a base running out, Aiden Robbins gunned out at home.
Well, here's a teachable moment right here. You look at where the shortstop is on the relay. He was inside the foul line and was able to make a strong throw to the catcher at home plate. Robbins did everything he could to avoid the tag, but he was out by a mile. Great relay, that's what is being taught, and a nice strong throw, and was able to stay with him.
Carson Crowhood, the relay man there for the Islanders. throwing out Roberts at home. So Texas denied taking his first lead of the game, settling for a tie, a 4-run fourth inning for Texas, with a game-tying double hit by Anthony Pack Jr. Jackson Smith leading off the Islander fifth inning. First pitch from Hamilton out of the zone on a fastball at 93. So 6 runs, 8 hits, an error for A&M Corpus. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Texas. Islanders have left 2 men on. The Longhorns have stranded 4, I beg your pardon. Off the plate, 2-0.
This is one of those situations where your team has now found a way to get you back into the ball game. We've got a tie ball game. Your team scores 4. You have to be able to command the pitches in the zone. No room for anybody at this point.
Strike delivered there. 2 balls and a strike to Smith. Part of the order batting for A&M Corpus here in the 5th. Smith, Flaggart, and Asmar. 3-1 from Hamilton. Swing and a miss. 3-2.
Got to stay right there with that release point. Come right back at him. No room for him. Don't try to trick him. Just go right after him.
Full count pitch on the way, and a swing and a foul tip, strikeout. Jackson Smith out to start the 5th, brings up Jared Flaggart. And how about his night? A 2-run double in the 1st and a solo bomb in the 3rd.
What an impressive display by this young man. You talked about how hot he's been. Got a pitch elevated and crushed it out over the left center field wall. Big swings by this young man here recently.
First time facing Hamilton, up the middle he goes, and that's through for a base hit. Flaggart wasting no time as his momentum continues. Now a 3-for-3 night. So look at his last 4 games. Tack on another number there. I should say 2 numbers. 6 of 12, 4 homers, 10 RBI, and 6 runs so far.
If he's not the player of the week, I don't know who else is having a better week than that young man in the Southland Conference.
Speaking of the Southland in the SEC, there is another such game tonight in Baton Rouge. Northwestern State leading reigning national champion LSU at Alex Box 2-1 in the 5th.
You talk about a team that's had some tough times during the week, the midweek game.
And this pop-up caught by Pack for out number 2 of the inning, and losing his hat in the process. And continues to make plays in the outfield tonight for the Longhorns.
You know, if you hadn't had a chance to watch the Longhorns all season long, you've missed out on something that has been very, very special by this young man. I mean, he's learning how to play different positions. An athlete is an athlete. You can put him in center field. He's a natural center fielder. But there's differences and nuances that are in different ballparks. You spoke about that. And him being able to do what he's been able to do in the outfield. Started the year playing right field because Texas was trying to figure out what was going to happen with Jonah Williams and his injury. But Anthony Pack Jr. has been nothing but solid all season long. I got a chance to talk to Coach Schlossnagle early in the season, and we asked him who is somebody that we should probably know going into the season. And he said, I think Pac-Man, Anthony Pack Jr., has a chance to do some big things here at the University of Texas this year.
Towchick with a towering shot out to left. Pack at the wall, twisting and turning, and makes a catch out of the warning track. He's been challenged tonight in left field, but has risen to every challenge thrown his way. And this game remains deadlocked, 6-6, heading into the bottom of the 5th.
real fun. Just getting started.
Run straight for the breakaway.
The celebration is on.
Oh, you can feel the excitement. We are less than 2 months away from Omaha, the College World Series, June the 12th. And so far, it has been run by the SEC in recent years. The last non-SEC team to win it all, Coastal Carolina, or I beg your pardon, Oregon State, back in 2018. But it was Coastal a couple of years before that in 2016. And you look at the breakdown of teams that are ranked by conference. In the SEC in D1 baseball's top 25, 10 SEC teams ranked in D1 baseball's poll. ACC second among conferences with 5, followed by the Big 12 with the Big 10. And then there is the Sun Belt featuring Coastal Carolina and Southern Miss. And the other team making up that 25th number, spoke about Oregon State. The Beavers currently is an independent. They'll be back at a conference home next year.
You know, we were looking at it and talking about it before, and you look at those 3 Big Ten teams. They're not your traditional Big Ten teams when you start to look at how it all went down, and looking at UCLA, all the other teams that are in there from the West Coast that are in those rankings. It's a little bit different when you look at what goes down in the Big Ten nowadays.
Those other teams, USC and Oregon, that are ranked right now. And as we see a hard shot that goes foul off the bat of Borba following a single from Timo Becerra, the start of the inning against Chandler Fowler. You see you have UCLA right at the top, featuring the reigning National Player of the Year in Rock Chalowski. As you look at the SEC teams in the top 25, a list headlined by Texas coming in at number 4. They'll take on number 11 Alabama coming up this weekend. You have USC, and they were kind of running parallel with Texas for a while as Borba pokes a base hit to left. His second hit of the game, and that'll move the tying run into scoring position here for the Longhorns.
And you're right. You start looking at all of these teams and how they're broken down. Will Gasparino, former Texas Longhorn, is now at UCLA. He started the season off hotter than fish grease with all the home runs that he was hitting. And now, you know, you start to look around, and that team has been dominant all season long.
The Bruins, I think it's now 27 straight wins for them at this point. As Ashton Larson comes up, UCLA, I think the record is 31-2, somewhere around the neighborhood. Last loss came in their first midweek game of the year, shortly after Valentine's Day. It was that long ago since UCLA last lost. .27 combined home runs, and it is 27 straight wins for the Bruins. Top RPI in the country. Haven't lost a single game against Quad 1 or Quad 2, unbeaten in Big Ten play. And I was mentioning there was a team kind of parallel with Texas in the Big Ten for a good chunk of the year. You mentioned Gasparino, he and Chalowski. The 2 of them have more home runs than A&M Corpus does as a team this year. In fact, more than 110 teams at the Division I level. Well, later on this year, UCLA will take on USC. Now, the Trojans and the Longhorns, they were the last 2 unbeaten left about 4 weeks or so into the season until both ultimately lost. And both pitching staffs been so good this year. The Trojans at the top ERA right now in the country. There's a bunt put down, well played. Flagger will field to first and not in time. Larson bunts his way on, and the bases are loaded.
What a great bunt by Larson. You knew he was thinking about it from the very beginning. You had talked about the small ball approach, runners on first and second, and he got the bunt down. But the beautiful thing about it is he made the third baseman come and get the ball. And once he did that, his speed prevailed by getting the infield bunt for a base hit.
Base is full, nobody out. Longhorns had just scored 4 in the 4th inning, looking for another crooked number here in the 5th. And here's the DH, Josh Livingston. ball, no strikes. That time, Fowler able to find the strike zone. The count goes to 1-1. The Longhorns as a team this year with the bases loaded hitting .383. Livingston with the bases juiced 1 for 4. Behind to the count 1-2. Becerra, Borba, Larson, all with singles, all on base.
This is one of those situations right now that he sits there and makes sure that the ball is elevated. Don't chase right here because he has to come to you. He wants you to get out of your zone. Just stay there and elevate the ball, and if he gets it, hammer it.
That's off the plates, and Livingston refusing to expand his zone. Full counts. Texas looking to take its first lead of the night. Once down 5-0 and 6-1. The Longhorns opponent this weekend, number 11 Alabama. They're in progress at UAB, a very good team out of the American. Crimson Tide leading a high-scoring game there in the 7th, 9-6 in Birmingham. Full counts. And that'll walk in a run. The Longhorns 7th of the night. And now on top of the first time against A&M Corpus.
Good at bat right there by Livingston, not going out of the zone, not chasing anything, making them come to him. Patience worked right there.
And Scott Malone will come out of the mound here. A change might be coming along with his visit as Fowler has struggled here in the 5th inning. In fact, Fowler came into the game with 2 outs in the 4th. Has given up a walk, a double, 3 singles, and another walk. Has yet to retire a batter. I mean, there was an out recorded in the 4th inning, but it didn't come by him. It came from his outfield defense. And it will lead to a change here for A&M Corpus. Nathan Miller coming in. Mueller, I beg your pardon, is coming in now here for A&M Corpus Christi. So SEC baseball, so good, and a lot of eyes on it. And coming up this weekend, number 10, Texas A&M and LSU are playing the second game of a big 3-game series this Saturday at Alex Box Stadium. Of course, that in Baton Rouge, and we'll have it for you on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. A game to watch this weekend in the SEC.
You talk about some serious baseball going on. You know, you looked at it and you saw that Texas A&M was ranked number 10, and LSU not being ranked is something that a lot of people are scratching their head coming into this season.
Some of the other series to watch for this weekend: Georgia at Arkansas and Fayetteville starts Thursday on ESPNU. The Tigers and the Gators, SEC Network Thursday and Friday, national television, ESPN2 on Saturday. The Aggies and the Tigers at the Box Friday and Sunday on ESPN. This series this weekend coming up, the Tide and the Horns coming up Friday through Sunday at SEC Network Plus. Looking ahead to that series. How about the pitching that lines up in the opener? Ruger Riojas for Texas. Taylor Fay, a no-hitter not long ago for the Crimson Tide a few weeks ago against Florida. First no-hitter in the regular season in the SEC in 5 years. Each team with some talented offensive players as well. Should make for a great weekend of baseball here in the 40 acres.
Yeah, you start to look at it. You look at Justin LeBron, the shortstop, being one of those guys that a lot of people are going to have eyes on this weekend. And we talked about what Aiden Robbins has been able to do for himself coming to the University of Texas, showing he can hit SEC pitching and making himself a little bit of money as well.
And again, it all starts Friday at 6:30. This pitch is inside from Nathan Mueller, the right-hander from Fort Worth. Replaces Chandler Fowler. Struggled here in the 5th inning. Did not get it out, and a run already in for Texas. Aaron Pendergrass to the strike at a fastball at 94. That no-hitter Tyler Fay threw against Florida back on March 20th. The first no-hitter thrown by a Crimson Tide pitcher in 84 years. Last one was all the way back in 1942.
I was not around, I can promise you that.
Every time we make those references, you always have to add that qualifier to it.
Yeah.
If I get into the mid-2000s, you're finally going to have to admit
Then
that.
I'm going to have to say that I was somewhere. Yeah. Throwing a no-hitter, I don't care where you are, is something that is very impressive, especially when you start to look at this day and age of baseball and how talented these guys are at the plate. Every roster has a guy in it that can definitely hit, and being able to control the strike zone is something that a lot of pitchers are having a tough time with.
Back by Pendergrass, top of the lineup, due up next here for Texas. Again, Alabama tonight playing at UAB. Now, life in college baseball is hard, as teams do find out. Talked about Florida and the Gators. They're trailing right now at home in their midweek game, as the count evens here at 2-2. Gators losing to Bethune-Cookman in Gainesville, 12-7. It is one of the better programs in the SWAC currently. They're in the 7th inning. Inside out swing jammed him. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Aggies, who won the series over the weekend against Texas, leading Houston in the 7th inning in College Station, 10-2. Oklahoma getting shut out by longtime rival Oklahoma State, 6-0 Cowboys. Those two are playing in Tulsa, not in Norman tonight. Georgia struggled to beat East Tennessee State, but did 12-10.
Good battle right here by Pendergrass. Fouled off the tough pitch on the inner third earlier. Got a ball that was just elevated, fouled it straight back. Tough at bat for someone who hadn't had any at bats coming into tonight's ball game.
Borba, Larson, Livingston on base. Nobody outs. And into center it goes for a base hit. Borba is going to score as the Longhorns go station to station and now lead by 2, 8-6.
I think Pendergrass getting an opportunity now. He's saying, hey, coach, I'm here, and I want to have my opportunities, and I'm going to make the most of it. You look at his quality at-bats that he's had. Now that's 3 of them where he's actually swung the bat well. Way to hit the ball, young man.
Happy with himself, too, on his way to first base. But a big night for Pendergrass. A couple of runs batted in. His first hits as a Longhorn there moments ago. And a walk tonight as we go to the top of the order to Mendoza. Bases still full, and again, nobody out. And a strike there from Mueller.
They stayed with the approach the entire game. Texas did. Just kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away.
No balls, 2 strikes to Mendoza. Through the first couple of innings, Texas just 1 run off 1 hit. Since then, they've scored 7 runs in every inning since the second. Grounded foul. And the count remains 0-2.
Another tough pitch being fouled off.
And a strikeout. Mendoza down on strikes for the second time. And the Islanders finally get the first out here in the 5th inning.
Another tough pitch right there. Being able to recognize the breaking ball down in the zone. Just didn't stay on it. Look, thought he saw fastball and swung over.
Brings up the red-out Carson Tenney. On base all 3 times tonight, including a home run and a double. 13th homer of the year. Swing and a miss. 0-1 for Mueller. Got a duck out of the way and a ball that sails over his back. You don't see that very often. Tenney, the first-year transfer from Notre Dame. First-team All-American last year for the Irish out of the ACC. On a 6-game hitting streak with his 2 hits here tonight. Takes a strike over the heart of the plate, and the count runs to 1-2.
Nice tight slider right there.
During this hitting streak of his batting average has gone up more than 30 points. And it wasn't bad before, 284 before that stretch. Just missed hitting his second home run of the game with his double back in the 4th inning. And has had a pair of 2-homer games this year. Once at South Carolina, saw that earlier. And in another midweek game against Lamar. One and 2 to Tenney. Ground ball to the right side. And the play at first is made, but a productive out drives in another run as Larson scores from third on the ground out to make it 9-6 Texas.
Great job sitting back, driving the ball, hitting the ball hard to the right side, giving himself an opportunity to get an RBI and continue this inning.
Here's Aiden Robbins over his last 10 games. The number's absurd. 6 home runs over his last 10, driving in 10. And an RBI chance here for one of the hotter hitters in the nation. Runner second to third and 2 outs. It's been a quiet game for Robbins so far. 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. Now falls behind 0-2. You're going to transfer from Seton Hall. Grew up in the Northeast area in Yardley, Pennsylvania. Mike, you played baseball down here in the South. You and I have covered it. We know how much talent there is in the South, but there's also talent to be found in the Northeast as well.
And I think the Texas Longhorns did the right thing of finding it for themselves with this young man right here. He's been nothing but positive energy for this Texas baseball team. He's shown up every single night, done an excellent job at the plate and in the outfield.
Livingston at third, Pendergrass over at second. 1-2 to Robbins. Lashes that foul. Freshman year, Seton Hall hit 6 home runs. Six a year ago for the Pirates, and has hit 6 in his last 10 games here. Off the plate, 2-2. Opening day, Robbins went deep against Cal Davis. It was a sign of things to come for him in a Longhorn uniform. Had a 2-homer game in that memorable SEC series at Auburn. Homered 3 times in that series against the Tigers. As the count goes to 3-2. Another 2-homer game here against Texas State. Final game of March. Two homers in a pair of games against the Aggies this past week. 3-2, and Robbins will take his base on a fastball that just missed the plate.
Yeah, that was a good take right there. That was seemed like it'd be a little bit too close to take in this ball game, but who am I to question what this young man's eyes have been for him all season long?
So the base is full for Anthony Pack Jr., a name we figure you're going to be hearing about for a long time. Talent fully on display in this game. Both in the infield or in the outfield and at the plate. And takes ball 1 here. Reached base in 12 straight. He's only failed to do so in 2 games this season. That elbow guard of his was hanging off, and now he secures that thing right back on.
I was wondering if he was going to call time to get himself back in there, but luckily the pitch was out of the zone and didn't have to make an effort to hit it.
So here was, again, that elbow guard coming off, and it's there for a reason, right?
He's like, oh, good. I'm glad he called time. He can go out there.
Now, had the ball hit that elbow guard dangling off of him, does that count as a hit by pitch?
That's a great question. I think it would be highly debated by somebody in that dugout for Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
I mean, if you're wearing a baggy jersey and the ball catches it, that's a hit by pitch.
Yep, that is true. Saves you less pain, too.
You know, for that reason, I'm kind of curious as to why Ronnie Teague, the plate umpire, didn't call for time to let him adjust that for that reason.
That is a great question, though, to try to figure that out. But as you said, if your jersey is big and it hits you, you get to take the base.
Nightfall is it here at UFCU Dish Falk. As this pitch is cold, strike 3, Pack goes down looking. With the Longhorns strike for 3 in the inning, and they now lead for the first time as we head to the 6th. 9-6, Texas on top. Biggest stories in college baseball this year has been the play of Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets sweeping number 5 Florida State, the rival Seminoles out of the ACC. And now Georgia Tech has won 12 in a row. We've talked a lot about the SEC, and how about this? Of the 16 teams, all but 2 have been swept at some point this year in conference play. That is wild. We also spoke about the Big Ten and just how well things have gone for the teams on the west coast of that conference between UCLA, USC, and Oregon, all 3 ranked. The only 3 Big Ten teams in the top 25.
It has already been an unbelievable season, and we're not done yet. There's so many good teams that are out there that you mentioned it earlier about the College World Series and the SEC being the ones that have really been dominating that. Well, now you look out there and you mentioned it. The West Coast is doing their thing, which happens to be the Big Ten. And, of course, you start to look at some of these teams in the SEC to see if they're going to really challenge this year.
Croker flies out to Pendergrass for the first out here in the 6th inning against Hamilton. And there are teams that we don't know of as of yet that might spoil the party. Who will be this year's Murray State? Will there be another Coastal Carolina outside the Power 4 that makes it to Omaha and then makes a run there? So a lot of stories yet to be told in college baseball this year.
As they love to say, that's why you play the game, because baseball is just that. It is something that you can never predict. Even when you think you have the stronger staff on the mound, you might have the best hitters, but on any given day, you can end up losing a ball game. We see it, you mentioned it, Bethune-Cookman, and what they've been able to do out of the SWAC.
Austin Russell at the plate here for the Islanders. In a 9-6 game of the 6th inning, Texas has scored 8 unanswered. They've scored in 3 straight innings, a single run in the 3rd, 4 runs in the 4th, 3 more in the 5th. Pendergrass unable to make a play. And the count 1-2 to Russell. Talked about USC, one of the Big Ten teams that's ranked the 12th. Well, the Trojans are currently losing at Long Beach State. Typically a very good mid-major, but this year they're 11-23. And USC losing in the 3rd inning of that game, 2-0.
11-23. Wow.
At this stage, USC in no danger of not being an at-large team, but that's the type of game that kills your RPI. As that bounces foul, the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Talked about Oregon State earlier. The Beavers, the last non-SEC team to win the national championship, did so in 2018. Their game against Oregon tonight has been postponed, renewing that rivalry in Hillsboro, Oregon. That's lifted foul and unplayable. Count remains 1-2. However, Oregon State's national championship in 2018 was possible because of a dropped pop-up in foul territory by Arkansas. If the Razorbacks squeeze that, then the streak continues for the SEC.
Right.
So if not for that, the last non-SEC team was Coastal Carolina in 2016.
And that would help Van Horn to get his championship as well.
Becerra, good effort there, but the throw not in time. And Russell reaching on an infield base hit.
Good range to his glove side and being able to even get to that ball. He was playing a little bit more into the hole, but came up and made a strong throw. Good hustle down the line by Russell.
And now the 9-hole hitter, Christian Smith-Johnson. Islanders scored 5 of the 1st inning, just 1 run since. That was on the Flaggart homer in the 3rd. Foul away, strike 1. Top-ranked UCLA putting that 27-game winning streak on the line against a very good West Coast mid-major, UC Santa Barbara. They play at 9 o'clock tonight out in L.A. Speaking of the Bruins, they play at Jackie Robinson Stadium. And tomorrow's Jackie Robinson Day. And you look out in right field for the Longhorns, Darian Pendergrass wearing the number 42. It's not a number you see in the game very much these days, especially in the big leagues. You will not, as it is universally retired across all of Major League Baseball. But tomorrow, you'll see it all over Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it is something that is very near and dear to my heart, being able to play the game of baseball and what Jackie Robinson was able to do to break the color barrier and be able to play in the major league. So a lot of other players would be able to get their opportunity to play there. And it's also very gracious and honorable of the major leagues to retire his jersey, make sure no one else can wear it. But like you mentioned, everyone will have on the number 42 tomorrow. So it's going to be a really cool day to be able to watch Major League Baseball and them continuing to honor what Jackie Robinson meant to the game of baseball and what he meant to America.
Well said, Harge. As we see Evans take strike one here from Hamilton, who just got done striking out Smith Johnson. Called strike at 0-2. A top 10 team did go down tonight. Number 9 Virginia out of the ACC losing at VCU 6-2. Oh, 2 pitch. That's the miss there from Hamilton. Runs the count to a ball and 2 strikes.
You mentioned Coastal Carolina earlier. They ended up going down to Wake Forest tonight. 10-5.
Swing and a miss. Good fastball there from Hamilton. And strikes out the final 2 outfielders he faces in the 6th. Longhorns have all the momentum right now and a 9-6 lead over A&M Corpus. Longhorns a slow start tonight at the plate, but since the 4th inning, they have been teeing off.
No doubt about it. They're getting pitches that they can handle, and the one thing that I'm liking about it is they're hitting the ball with some authority. They're hitting it to all parts of the field, but the one thing that continues to happen, aggressive in the zone, and Barrows are happy tonight.
When we look at the splits for the Longhorns in this game, from the first 2 innings to the innings since then. Only 1 run, only 1 for 6 at the plate. Struck out 4 times since then. They've scored 8 unanswered and lead 9-6. Timo Becerra leading off here in the 6th inning for Texas against Mueller. So we were looking at some top 25 scores and SEC scores. Sometimes some of the non-SEC and top 25 scores will catch your eye. One caught mine from a couple of days ago. wild game between two teams that nobody pays attention to. Lehigh and Coppin State. Lehigh is 10-24 in the year. They run-ruled Coppin State this past weekend 38-6.
Excuse me?
38-6, scoring 20 in the first inning.
I was just about to ask, when did they end up calling the game?
In the second, they probably should have in the first. So the 20 runs was one shy of the Division I record set by Valparaiso back in 2010. They scored 21.
Wow.
And there's a leadoff walk to Timo Becerra. He's on for the second time of the game. Leadoff man on for Texas yet again. And that's now 5 times in the first 6 innings the leadoff man has reached for the Longhorns.
So let me ask you this. As a broadcaster, as the play-by-play guy that has to call a game like that, you don't have enough. You
To fill?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, think about it. How many – we need to go back. I need to go find that box score because I want to know how many hits there were. I want to know.
Oh, I have
because
it.
that seems like a lot of walks as well. I don't think anybody was just hitting like that.
Looks like Mueller will stay in the game here after the pep talk from Scott Malone. By the way, the record for runs at a game by one team is 50. Nebraska against Chicago State in 1999. So you ask about hits, this is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
38 runs off of, give me a guess.
The way you just looked at me, you make me want to say like 10.
12.
See, oh, my
12
goodness.
hits.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I would have lost my mind calling that.
Lehigh had drew 25 walks in the game. They scored 38 runs with 1 homer.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, Mickey.
This game is weird, man. Here's a strike to Casey Borba. Borba, good night tonight. Talked about his struggles coming in, but 2 for 3. And has scored a couple of runs. It's a bat the Longhorns really want to turn back in the right direction after tough stretches of late. Pops this one up, out into shallow right field. And the catch made by Sanchez from second base. Good for the first out here in the 6th.
That is really interesting to me that only 12 hits in that game, and you said they drew 25 walks?
25 walks. And let's see how many. There were 9 hit batters. So 34 free passes for Lehigh hitters.
Wow. Is that safe to say it was a tough day at the office for that staff? How do you go in the locker room and have a conversation about that? Hey, guys, we'll get them tomorrow because there's nothing else I can say tonight.
The proud alma mater of C.J. McCollum. I'm sure he was very happy that day. Bounces away from Asmar. And that will allow Becerra to take second base here for Texas without a throw.
What is the wildest game that you have actually called in your illustrious career that you can remember?
So, run rules haven't always been a thing, especially in conference play.
Correct.
So it used to be it would only be on travel days. So Friday and Saturday, games 1 and 2, you play 9 innings no matter what. And there was a game that I did. It was Bark in the Park Day of all things. So everybody brings their dogs, and it winds up being 30-3. Those poor dogs were bored out of their mind. And the game took forever, and it was over 4 innings in. And you felt for the losing team as well. They got to keep throwing out pitchers to the Wolves, and then all the team that was up brought guys off the bench. They're not trying to rub it in, but they too are hitting home runs and stuff like that. And in terms of wild games where the score was lopsided, that comes to mind as we see a walk here to Larson. He's on for the 4th time has reached base all 4 at-bats, a double, 2 walks and a bunt single, 2 on and 1 out for Texas. Now, in terms of competitive wild finishes, we talked a lot about UCLA this year when they came back from 2 runs down at Mississippi State in the 9th inning in Arlington.
Wow. Those are some of those memorable moments, especially when you talk about the home run and being able to make that happen.
Pitching change here for the Islanders. That is going to be the end for Nathan Mueller. With Scott Malone going to his bullpen once again, and his team down 9-6 on the road. Softball for you this weekend, the big 3-game series between number 5 Texas and number 13 Georgia. Saturday afternoon's game is on SEC Network, Sunday on ESPN. And the series finale Monday night, also on the SEC Network. Like everything else, all games are also available on the ESPN app. The reigning national champion Texas Longhorns softball program and head coach Mike White, as we take a look at the new pitcher into the game here for A&M Corpus Christi. A couple of runners on and 1 out for Cade Budd, a left-hander from Corpus. And now for the Islanders, inherits not only a 3-run deficit, but the 2 runners, trying to keep this game within arm's length before we hit the 7th.
You know, I had a game I was calling in Frisco. And 9-inning game, 4 hours and 52 minutes.
Pitching changes?
Bang, bang, hitting the ball all over the place, pitching change, scoring runs, 9-inning ball game. At one point, I didn't even want to call games anymore because I felt like I was the bad luck for everyone that really didn't want to be at the ballpark that long.
Just 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, this past Saturday, we had a doubleheader. And after the first game ended relatively quickly, 2.5 hours because of a run rule, the second game went 5 hours and 17 minutes. That is a long day at the ballpark.
Wow.
And that was 11 innings. I would think 5 hours plus, you're going 16.
Exactly. And you barely went to extras.
Barely.
Yeah.
Cade Budd in to face Josh Livingston. 2 for 3, or 1 for 2, I beg your pardon, with a couple of runs batted in. There has been production from every part of the lineup tonight for Texas. Only 1 player has not factored into the scoring. Both runners go and steal, second and third respectively, and a double steal with Sarah and Larson both advancing bases. Both getting a tremendous jump.
Yep, you said it perfectly. They both got great jumps. The timing was everything. They must have saw something. And most of the time, as the trail runner, you're waiting to see what your lead guy is going to do. So sometimes you get a bad jump on the backside.
That ball drilled into center field for Livingston. And that's going to drive in 1 run. Becerra will score. Larson stops at third to make it 10-6 Texas.
Another hard hit ball by Livingston and being able to drive in another run. The lefties are having a good day today. You talked about what Larson was able to do. Anthony Pack Jr. has hit the ball hard pretty much every single time he's come up. Livingston right there with another big swing up the middle. And now you have Pendergrass with his other at-bat of the night.
And again, we reference the significance of that number of his, 42. Jackie Robinson Day tomorrow across all of Major League Baseball. Putting a bunt down on the safety squeeze play. Go to first is in time. But Darian Pendergrass drives in his 3rd run of the game in his first ever start as a Texas Longhorn.
And you got a chance to see right there what it looks like to get out of the batter's box and have a bunch of speed on the bases. Excellent bunt, head down, ready to go, and he's just out of there. Just whoop. That was a perfect play by the third baseman coming in to get rid of it, and a great pick over there at first base.
That is how you execute a safety squeeze. Back to the top of the lineup we go to Ethan Mendoza. So I mentioned everybody in the lineup has factored into the scoring. The one player who hasn't, you wouldn't believe who it is.
Aiden Robbins.
Aiden Robbins.
And that's not a normal night for him.
Runner takes off for third, and he'll get there without a throw. Livingston easily steals third base.
He'll be glad that you said that.
By the time he comes up next, yes.
He'll be, no, I'm talking about Livingston. Livingston will be happy that you said easily, because you know he's over there working to get those
Very
bags.
hard. Yep. Swing and a miss, strike one. I guess easy in the sense that there wasn't a throw there. But you're right, worked hard to get that moment.
Because it just doesn't seem like a guy that steals a lot of bases.
Right. 2-1 to Mendoza. Fouled away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So even with Robbins' quiet night, over 2, a couple of walks, and he's due a couple of batters from now, tells you about the depth of this Longhorn lineup. They can find ways to score without needing him to drive in a ton of runs. This is popped up, could end the inning into foul ground, but into the dugout, and the inning continues. It's a lineup that ranks 11th nationally in walks, 16th in home runs. Certainly, Robbins a big part of that, as 15 of the team's 60 home runs this year. 21st in slugging. It's a lot of depth, 1 through 9 for Jim Schlossnagle's team this season. And looking for a big bounce-back series this weekend against Alabama. First ever conference series between the Horns and the Tide. That ball headed towards the Longhorn pin into foul territory. A sliding attempt made by Evans, but couldn't get there in time. And Mendoza battling here against Bud.
Texas really needs to get Mendoza to that spot again where his barrel was doing a lot of work early in the season. Right now it just seems like it's not being free at the plate at this time.
Big miss there from Bud. Feels the count 3-2. And if Bud walks him to extend the inning, that would bring up Tenney, working on a 3 RBI night of his own. He and Darian Pendergrass have combined to drive in 6 of the Longhorns' 11 runs. Ball 4. And Mendoza draws his 2nd walk of the game. And that brings up Carson Tenney. Talking about those Longhorn numbers, keep in mind, too, that as of late, they're doing it without Adrian Rodriguez. A-Rod last played March 28th.
A-Rod is an integral part of this team, somebody that started the season as the shortstop, position that he didn't play last year. He was playing some third, he was playing some outfield, he even got some time at second base. But now coming back from the injury is going to be important for him. He's not too far away. I saw him taking ground balls earlier today. Don't know how much he's done in the cage as of yet, but talking to Coach Schlossnagle, he's one of those guys that I need to have him on the field because he's so high energy in the dugout. They need him on the field.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The shortstop position opened up over the offseason, and Adrian Rodriguez told Coach Schloss, I want that job. He said, you want it so bad, go get it. And over the offseason, he worked and earned that job at shortstop at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Troy Tulowitzki and his time working with him and working with all the infielders, let's be honest, but actually working with Adrian Rodriguez to give him every opportunity to win that job, and that's exactly what he was able to do.
Into right and a base hit. Tenney's big night continues as he drives in 2 more runs. 13-6 Texas, and Carson Tenney a 5 RBI night.
Have yourself a night, kid. Driving in 2 runs, continuing to hit the ball to all parts of the ballpark. He got a breaking ball on the outside third and stayed behind it and hit it between the first baseman and the second baseman. Great piece of hitting. As you saw, his hand stayed back, foot came down, stayed behind the ball, and found himself a base knock to drive in 2 runs.
Two run, 2 out base hit. Now a 7-run lead for Texas. Once down 6-1. And they have flipped this game on its head. On top by a touchdown here as Aiden Robbins comes up. Robbins fouls off the first pitch to the Islander dugout. See Texas's record 27-7. Only the 4th time in the last 21 years the Longhorns have won at least 27 of their first 34 games. And that's high for ball 1. But now they've done it twice in 2 seasons under Jim Schlossnagle.
Impressive work so far for the Texas Longhorns. You know, as we talked about a little bit earlier, when you start to look at the SEC and you go back and you look at last year's team, they weren't expected to compete. They were expected to compete, but not for an SEC championship in that first year. They went out there, tried to win every weekend, as every team does in their conference, and they found a way to get it done. And I believe if Jared Spencer didn't get hurt last year, it would have been a big opportunity for that Texas Longhorn baseball team to make a run at it.
The Longhorns have stolen 4 bases in the inning without warning a throw.
Some good jumps. Some good jumps on the base path.
Clearly the book is out on Cade Budd. Full count here to Robbins, who's already walked twice in the game. Longhorns sent 8 to the plate in the 4th, scoring 4 times. 9 to the plate in the 3rd, scoring 3. Robbins, the 8th batter here in the 6th. They've scored 4 so far. Fouled away, and we just saw Tenney ticking off for 3rd.
Tenney trying to get his bags up. I remember last year, Rylan Galvan was somebody that was sneaky at the catcher position, trying to get to double digits. And Coach Schlossnagle said, if you trust me, I'm going to help you get some stolen bases. And it looks like he's doing the same with Tenney.
Robbins to right field. That's going to drop in for a hit. Tenney will stop at 3rd. First base hit of the game for Aiden Robbins. And the hit parade continues here for Texas.
As we talked about his ability to stay back on pitches, he got a pitch that was up. He saw it on the outside half and drove it into right field. He wasn't trying to get out in front of it. He stayed compact and hit the ball hard. Too hard to drive in Carson Tenney from second base.
Brings up Anthony Pack. Has driven into the zone tonight. At a conference full of extremely talented freshmen. Pack among the best, certainly in conversation right now for SEC Freshman of the Year. As Robbins swipes second base without a throw. And for Texas, now 5 solo bags here in the 6th inning.
Wow, it's an impressive inning on the base paths.
Headed towards left field. And Tauchik makes the catch to take care of Anthony Pack. The Longhorns a 4-run 6, and they're pulling away. On top by 7 as we head to the 7th on SEC Network Plus. Their Southland tournament streak intact. They've made the SOC tournament 6 straight years, in danger of not making it this year. They sit in 11th place in last, and the top 8 qualify for the Southland tournament. They're currently 2.5 back of the 8 seed HCU. However, the teams that are playing will give them a chance to make up some ground as you look at the remaining schedule for the Islanders, taking on McNeese this weekend in Corpus. Coming to San Antonio the following weekend to take on UIW. The Huskies are in 8th right now in New Orleans.
Yeah, they have to stay locked in, and that's something that Coach Malone had spoke to us about, and you brought it up earlier. Beat Texas or win the weekend series. He preferred the weekend series because that has more bearing on him being able to get into the Southland tournament and being a spoiler possibly for somebody.
Currently in first place in the Southland is Northwestern State. Demons holding the top spot of the Southland as Cade Sanchez leads off the 7th here for the Islanders. The reigning tournament champion is HCU. Won it a year ago. It was their first conference tournament title since 2015. That year, the Huskies won 4 tournament games with 4 complete games. It is the only team in NCAA history to have 4 complete games in a conference tournament.
Wow, 4 complete games in a conference tournament? That's impressive. That is your staff saying, all right, I got you.
Yep.
Let's go in here and go get it.
Imagine you're a reliever for a second. You pack all your stuff up for this conference tournament. You're probably packing 6-7 days worth of clothes or whatever. You're amping up every game. The cleats are on. You're getting your warm-ups in before the game starts, and you don't play once.
You're going back into the dugout and asking Coach if y'all can have our inner squad tomorrow so you can get some work in.
Sanchez rolls one to short. Becerra fields and fires in time. Good stretch from Larson at first base. And it's out number 1 here the 7th. So we saw Texas in the bottom of the 6th inning steal 5 bases without a throw. The NCAA record for stolen bases in 1 inning is 8. FIU against Florida A&M 33 years ago. And a game is 22, which seems impossible. 22 by St. John's against Siena in 78.
22 stolen bases in the game.
In the game, and that's also the record for most stolen bases combined. Although Siena had 0.
Aggressive much on the base paths,
Yeah.
are we?
You almost wonder if Siena played the game without a catcher.
Well, as you saw earlier, Texas was running without throws, so they were given their opportunities to steal bases.
There's a strike to Jackson Smith. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run tonight for the Islanders. And waiting on deck, one of the bright spots for A&M Corpus in their trip to Austin, Jarrett Flaggart. Hudson Hamilton has really slowed things down since coming into the game. Fly ball that's going to shoot out of play. So the Longhorns started Michael Winter, and he really struggled in the first. Gave up 3 hits and a walk. 4 batters in, his night was done. Jim Schlossnagle said, "I've had enough." Turned to Max Grubbs, gave up a run in an inning of his own. Then Cade Bing, 2 2/3. 1 run surrendered, ball handed over to Hamilton, and no offense for the Islanders since then.
Yeah, you said it. He settled things down and kind of slowed down the process for what you've seen for the Islanders. There's Smith with a hanging breaking ball and got that barrel to it and hit it shot to right field.
Base hit given up there by Hamilton. So far, he's gone through 2+ innings, 2 2/3. No runs and 3 strikeouts. And now facing Flaggart. Singled off of him. Back in the 5th inning.
I wanted to ask you too, looking at Flaggart and what he's been able to do, knowing what he did before previously, no home runs and 89 at bats, but being able to come in and have the day that he's having, you got to be impressed with what you've seen from him so far and heard what Coach Malone had spoke of him.
So you look at the way he hit over the weekend at Hammond. It's translated here to Austin, which is a positive sign because you really want that bat of his to continue into this weekend at Chapman Field at home in Corpus against McNeese. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Hamilton. First time Flaggart retired tonight.
Great pitch right there by Hudson Hamilton. If you look at that downward motion on that slider, big time pitch right there to go out there and get that K for out number 2.
And that's his 4th strikeout. 2 down of the inning. Hunter Asmar coming up now for A&M Corpus Christi. Islanders 5-12 in Southland Conference play. Again, right now in last place in the SLC. As a pinch hitter comes up in place of Asmar. Jack Bergstrom, Jr. out of Federal Way, Washington. We'll have a new catcher for A&M Corpus in the bottom of this inning. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Bergstrom. But the number 5-12, it only equates to 17. It's not a round number as far as conference play goes because every weekend's 3 games unless you get rained out, as we know from this past weekend. That ball hit in the air to right field. Drifting over is Pendergrass. He'll make the catch. We'll talk more about that later because now it's time to stretch. All Texas on top of this midweek clash against A&M Corpus Christi on top 13-6. And we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Texas on top 13-6. The Longhorns have scored 12 unanswered runs. Big night at the plate for the Islanders. Jared Flagger picking up his momentum from over the weekend in Hammond. All the offense for the Islanders coming early. 5 runs in the first inning. And for the Longhorns, they have stormed back. Big night for Carson Tenney, driving in 5. Along the way, hitting his 13th home run of the year.
But the story to me has been what Hudson Hamilton has been able to do to stop that offense for the Islanders. Going in here 3 1/3 innings, only giving up 3 hits, but the key number is 0 runs for the Islanders since he's been in the game.
Now, the spray chart here for Texas, okay, all the hits they've garnered in this game, and they're adding up. We're up to 13 now, and look, you're getting balls just beyond the infield, some of them in the infield to the gaps in right and left center field right now. They've pretty much gone everywhere but dead center in this game.
And that's the one part about it is you start looking at the high arcing ones. Those are all Carson Tenney's. He's been able to hit the ball out of the ballpark and drive it off the right center field wall, but you've got guys hitting the ball all over the place, and it's good for the Texas Longhorns after they struggled this past weekend in Aggieland.
Timo Becerra leading off again here for Texas. This is the 3rd straight inning Becerra has led off. A product of these crooked number innings the Longhorns have pieced together. 3 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th. That ball launched towards right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit for Timo Becerra. Pitch, or the hit comes off Luke Robertson, the new pitcher in, 6'5" righty out of Frisco, Texas. 6th pitcher the Islanders have used tonight.
We looked at that chart just a second ago and watching where the balls have been hit, and that was another one that was shot to right field.
Did mention a new pitcher, or new catcher rather, Jack Bergstrom now behind the plate for A&M Corpus. A few changes defensively in the inning here for the Islanders. Kate Sanchez done for the night. He's out at second base. Carson Croca has moved to second from his shortstop position. And their look at Croca. And Jake Barron comes over at shorts. Not for A&M Corpus. And also a new center fielder as well. So Christian Smith-Johnson is done for the night. Pitch to the new center fielder here in a second. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. And that is the first out of the inning.
It's a big swing on the breaking ball. And once again, it was elevated, and those are the ones that you cannot miss. And I know Casey Borba was going to be looking for that in his sleep tonight because he knew there was an opportunity to hit the ball.
Big night tonight for Larson, scoring 3 runs. 1 ball, 1 strike here from Robertson.
Larson with the eagle eye at the plate. You can see it. He's feeling really good. You talked about the good night that he's had 2 base hits and 2 walks with a stolen base, 2 stolen bases. So he's feeling real good about his appearance.
Pitch inside, now a throw to second base. Haven't seen many of those, and there's a caught stealing from Bergstrom. Able to gun down Becerra for the second out.
Looked like he didn't get a good jump because most of the time you try to anticipate the ball in the dirt. But the ball came right back up, and a great throw by Bersham to get him out at second base.
And a good tag as well from Barron. By the way, the new center fielder is Will Stark in place of Christian Smith-Johnson. And there is a walk to Larson on yet again. And is yet to be retired of this game. The inning extends with 2 outs. Josh Livingston, 2 for 3-9, has driven in 3 for Texas. Only time he's been retired via a strikeout in the second against Matthew Molina. You know, the book of this game, if it continues this way, will be Texas winning a midweek. They expected to win, but you look at what A&M Corpus has done, and there's the big night for Flaggart, so his momentum is carried over. And Matthew Molina, his 3 innings, he looked really good.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal. And after that first inning where Malone talked about going out to get him, but he wanted him to work through some things, and he was able to go out there and do that. He made one mistake, and that was the home run to Carson Tenney. But other than that, he should be very proud of his performance today.
2 balls, 1 strike. Robertson against Livingston here. Darian Pendergrass awaits on deck. But another good story for the Longhorns out of this game, getting his first career start, making the most of it. And a nice deserved night off as well for Jaden Duplantier. Thomas Burns currently getting loose for the Islanders in their pen. As we see another walk here from Robertson. So Pendergrass comes up. We'll see if he faces Robertson here or if Scott Malone makes another change. Wanted to see his pitchers attack the strike zone outside of Molina. Really haven't seen that tonight. 11 walks for Islander pitching, just 2 from the starter. And a strike here to Pendergrass. This ball is hit pretty well towards the gap in left center. Stark on the run, able to reach back and make the catch, almost overran it, but still able to secure it to end the inning. And the Longhorns, for the first time since the second, don't score, but still leading 13-6.
best conference tournament in all of college baseball.
Run straight for the breakaway.
Let's get to Hoover.
And welcome back to UFCU Dish Falk as we look at the SEC standings. And it's a bit of a traffic jam right now as you look between first place Georgia and number 10 Kentucky. Just 4 games separating first and 10th. The Longhorns a game and a half back of the Bulldogs for first place. Tie for second with the Aggies after their series win over the Horns over the weekend. Only a half-game lead over Florida. Alabama coming into town a game and a half back. Every game magnified in this conference.
That's the exciting part about all of this is every single weekend you know you're going to be in a battle. You have to be locked in. You got to give yourself every pitch to make sure that something happens, whether it's at the plate or at the mound. SEC baseball, every weekend, you have to be prepared and locked in.
Into the game now for Texas, Thomas Burns, and the Longhorns really wanting to see some good stuff from him in this outing.
Yeah, he's somebody that starting at the very beginning of the season, you looked at him as possibly being the closer of this team. And, you know, he's had some time where he's had to work through certain mechanics, and now is an opportunity for him. Look at that electric, the stuff that he has, 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He just got to come in and hone that in and be very consistent.
Now, the last time the Longhorns saw him, he was electric against South Carolina on the road, struck out all 4 Gamecocks he faced. Inning of the third, punched out 4. Swing and a miss here, 0-2 to Tauchik. Some of his other outings this year, he appeared twice in the Michigan State series, 5 strikeouts across 2 innings of work then. So he's averaging right around 2 strikeouts an inning. He's got the stuff. You see it there on 3 pitches, wipes away Tauchik with 3 fastballs, all at 97.
That is what you want to see. Somebody come out of the bullpen, not mess around. Obviously, you're going to have to work on some other stuff because the fastball sometimes will get hit in the weekend, but the mechanics part of it is something that's huge. He's rearing it back and letting it go and dialing it up.
Burns comes in after Hudson Hamilton shut down this Corpus Christi lineup. Another swing and miss, strike on a fastball. Hamilton 3 1/3 innings, no runs, scattered 3 hits, and struck out 4. Croker lays off. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. I've seen nothing but fastballs so far here from Burns.
As they used to call it octane. He's bringing nothing but gas to you right now. Man, that up there to 98 miles per hour. It's that constant release point.
Two balls, 1 strike to Croker. Again, hailing from the greater DFW area. Played his high school baseball at Rockwall Heath. Won a state title up in Round Rock at Dell Diamond senior year. You spent a little time playing at Dell Diamond, didn't you, Mike?
The Dell Diamond, what a ballpark. I was actually there today because they had day baseball. So I got a chance to go over there and watch a little bit of the Express taking on the Chihuahuas.
Of El Paso. And a nice play made by Mendoza at second. A ball that wasn't hit all that hard. Mendoza had a backhanded throw it with his momentum carrying him away from first base and makes the play.
What an outstanding play, showing great range, but it's the transfer, getting the ball out quickly out of that glove. And a great pick over there by Larson, keeping his head down, seeing the ball into the glove, but great flip by Mendoza.
2 away for Burns here in the 8th inning. And now Austin Russell for the Islanders. Held scoreless since the 3rd. And a strike pumped in by Burns.
Another 97-mile-an-hour fastball on the black.
These Islander hitters just cannot catch up.
And again, that is something that confidence-wise, this is going to be something that you want to see Burns build off of. That's why you're in this game. That's why you're not messing around, showing the good velocity and making sure that your mechanics are right, because when it is, he's deadly.
Last one there at 99. Swing and a miss. Another one just shy of 100. Burns, a couple of strikeouts out of the bullpen in the 8th. He knows it as he was feeling it there in the inning. Still 13-6, Texas. To the bottom of the 8th inning, Longhorns hopeful this is their final time batting of the game. On top 13-6, Nico Crowley in now for the Islanders, the junior out of Port Orchard, Washington. 7th pitcher Scott Malone has used here tonight. Bullpen has not been nearly as effective as starter Matthew Molina was. Crowley making his 10th appearance of the year, elevated ERA, decent strikeout numbers, but also has given up 23 hits in his 16 innings this season.
Now here's another opportunity for a young man in his 10th appearance to come out and try to earn that trust from Coach Malone to get more opportunities to come out of that bullpen.
Doing this inning, Carson Tenney for Texas, and what a night he has had driving in 5.
You talk about the power display, crush the ball off the scoreboard for a home run, and then hits another one off the right field wall by staying back, and then you see the base hit right there. That is textbook, being able to hit and stay back on a breaking ball. Didn't try to do too much and had one heck of a night for the Longhorns.
It'll be Mendoza, then Tenney, and Robbins due here in the 8th inning. Longhorns get 3 runs here. They would pick up another run rule victory. 4 run rule wins in midweek play this year for the Longhorns, as the first pitch is fouled away for strike 1. Again, playing these Islanders out of the Southland Conference over the years, it's been an underrated non-P4 baseball conference. Currently, they are 12th in the nation in conference RPI. And a lot of excellent talent has come out of the Southland over the years. When Texas State used to be in the Southland, they had Paul Goldschmidt, now in his 16th year in the major leagues currently. Hunter Penn's a product of UTA. When they were in the Southland Conference, they're now in the WAC.
Yeah, that's impressive to think about when you say Goldschmidt in his 16th season in the major leagues.
That ball hit towards left field, and it's going to drop in front of Tauchik A leadoff base hit for Mendoza. Off for the third time, but the first time with a base hit. And the leadoff man on yet again for Texas. Seventh time tonight. The only inning the leadoff man did not reach was in the second.
That is an impressive run right now for the Texas Longhorns, making sure that they get that leadoff guy on.
Here is the red-hot Carson Tenney.
You saw that graphic saying that he had 31 walks, and that made him 6th in the SEC. Who else is walking like that? Because this young man, I've seen him take some tough pitches to be able to get that walk, but he continues to show the patience at the plate. As a big hitter, sometimes you chase out of the zone, but he's been consistent enough to be more relaxed at the plate and not chase.
A triple shy of the cycle tonight. The Longhorns have had a cycle hit this year, but the man on deck, swing and a miss, 2-1. It was Aiden Robbins against Michigan State way back in February. Swing and a miss, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And it feels like the walks have been coming in bunches for Tenney. He walked 3 times in the opener against the Aggies this past Friday, twice in the midweek win over UIW, 2 in the finale against South Carolina. So 3-game stretch just right there of 7 walks. Good.
Like I said, there are times where he has to be aggressive, and we saw it tonight. He jumped on a couple of first pitch fastballs and a breaking ball. He's hit one almost off the UFCU sign in left field, and then he goes back and hits one in the gap for a double. So we've seen a lot from this young man on being aggressive, yet also being patient at the plate. He's another one that should hear his name called early on draft day.
Full count to Tenney. High fly ball out towards left center field. Has some carry, but not enough. As Stark makes the catch for the first out. So we mentioned the patience of Carson Tenney, and really something you see up and down this lineup. The Longhorns, on average, seeing more than 4 pitches per plate appearance. Only Oklahoma State looks at more.
And it's not by a lot. And that is something, too, that we talk about the aggressiveness. Sometimes you go up there and you jump on the first pitch and you hit a home run, so that doesn't really go against you. But then you can get up there and work the count, be deep in the count, foul off some tough pitches, which we saw from Pendergrass and for his first at-bats of the season. So these guys work really hard about plate discipline, but more importantly, being very selective about how they want to attack the zone.
0-1 to Robbins. That ball headed towards the gap in right center, and that's going to get down for a hit. Stark trying to make the catch, couldn't track it down. Rounding third is Mendoza. He will score. And Robbins drives in his first run of the game to make it 14-6 Texas.
Remember when you said there was only one person who hadn't got an opportunity to do some things? Well, they woke him up. He's got a single and a double in his last 2 at-bats. And again, he went back to where he's good, and that's hitting the ball to the right side and staying on those pitches.
Yeah, when we saw the hit chart for Robbins earlier in the broadcast when he did at Texas A&M, the home runs he was hitting was on the outer half of the plate.
And staying through them and staying true to who he is as a hitter. As we talked about, he had 422 last season, and that was because he was able to hit the ball to all parts. Maddox Mansour comes in as a pinch runner for Aiden Robbins after that double.
So he's done for the night. As Pack looks at ball one here. Again, the way this game started, you thought it might be A&M Corpus's night. Might be an upset on the horizon. Either struck for 5 runs in the first inning before ever taking the field defensively. Texas got a run back, but they did so without a hit. It kind of still felt like, hey, after 1 inning at least, A&M Corpus is looking pretty good. Led 6-1 going into the bottom of the third following a Flaggart home run. The Longhorns had been hitting through the first 2 innings. The Islanders offensive in their first 3, but man, has this game changed in a hurry. That ball drilled out towards center. Stark will make the catch going into the wall. A productive out, though, was Mansour, will advance to third. Boy, and Pack knew it. He just missed leaving the yard himself. Now 2 outs here in the 8th inning after a nice play by Stark in center.
Once again, we talk about the ability to go get the baseball in center field. You saw Stark go make a great running catch, but the barrel action of Anthony Pack Jr., the noise that comes off of that, that's a great play in center field, but Anthony Pack Jr. cannot be disappointed in the way that he's swinging the bat. Continue to make hard contact all over the place.
You know, his line tonight, Anthony Pack has just 1 hit, but he has looked really good at the plate all night long. Great defensively. And that was Timo Becerra. Batting and not leading off an inning for the first time since the 3rd. Led off the 5th, 6th, and 7th for Texas. Becerra with a weakly hit ground ball. And now we go to the 9th inning. The Longhorns 3 outs away from picking up win number 28 on the season, on top 14-6 over the Islanders. Six Longhorns on top, 3 defensive outs away from improving to 20-2 at home as Cal Higgins comes into the game now for Texas. Big lefty out of Kearney, Nebraska. Well, this after the Longhorns got stellar work from Thomas Burns before him. Higgins making his 9th appearance of the year. A little more than 7 innings pitched, has struck out 9 and walked 7.
This is a big outing for Cal Higgins, somebody who has to be able to find the strike zone. You look at those numbers and you try to figure out, okay, this is a big guy, specialty guy, somebody that can come in and get outs. This is what Texas has been looking for the entire time.
So again, you go back to the outing from Thomas Burns and the gas he was throwing. 12 pitches in the inning, struck out 2. His fastballs in the upper 90s, and the other hitters couldn't catch up.
It was something that we wanted to see from Thomas Burns. I know he wanted to see that for himself, and this is something that he's going to be able to grow on, because this is a big weekend for Texas as they get ready to take on Alabama this weekend. Oof.
Now that still is Tenney behind the plate. You see him ripping the mask off there.
That is not where you want to get hit with a foul ball. And he almost went straight down after he got hit.
Jim Schlossnagle out there to check on him as well, along with the team trainer. And he's going to call it a night.
As he should. Wow. Great night for that young man, but that is not how he wanted to go out of the game with that foul ball.
And so the night done for Carson Tenney. Andrew Ermis, now the one behind the plate for Texas. Just gave her plate umpire Ronnie Teague and his dugout a thumbs up. I'm ready to go. And back to work here is Cal Higgins, facing Will Stark, his first at-bat of the game after replacing Christian Smith-Johnson in the outfield. And Stark behind 0-2. We were talking about the Islanders and that odd number of conference games sitting at 17, not 18. That's because there's currently a game under protest. A conference game they had with Nichols as Stark looks at ball 1 here. This happens after a play in the bottom of the first inning in a matchup between the Islanders and the Colonels, in which it was ruled that a pitcher had been hit by a pitch and awarded first base in A&M Corpus's favor, but that was challenged by Nichols. Swing and a miss, and Stark strikes out for the first out here in the 9th inning. And for Longhorn pitching, that's now 9 strikeouts on the night.
Good breaking ball, downward action, dropped out of the zone. Great pitch, great location.
Upon review, though, the crew ruled that the batter was hit by the pitch, but that the batter swung at it, resulting in a dead ball strike, and in return to the plate at the count 1-1. It was a game that Nichols wound up winning, and the administration of that rule was wrong by the crew. Southland ruled as much afterwards, and so the game right now is under protest. Islanders are hopeful that game will be resumed and finished or replayed, and it could be critical to them in their attempts to get into the Southland tournament.
And that's one of those things that you wait to find out. You see what's going to happen, you see where everything is, and then they decide if the game is necessary, they will probably make a ruling.
Pinch hitter up here for the Islanders, Walker Freeman, junior from Tyler, Texas. Two and one from Higgins. Fastball there for strike 2-2. Saw Mansour come in a pinch run for Aiden Robbins in the 8th, and now Mansour in right field for Texas. Pendergrass has navigated over to center. Full count. And Jake Barron waiting on deck here for the Islanders. Got to look at that big 6'4" frame of Higgins. Ground ball that bounces foul. Ground ball, and from short, it's Becerra. The throw to first, and it bounces away from Larson. Middle infield of Texas playing well tonight. Good effort there on the part of Becerra. The Freeman will reach with one out here in the 9th inning.
Tried to backhand that going away from first base. Didn't get enough on the throw. Becerra, who has played a lot of shortstop in his career, almost made it work. Larson leaned out a little bit too much trying to scoop that.
So Freeman is on with one out. Now to bring up Barron, his first at-bat of the game. As the game has gotten away, more and more players have entered into the lineup and defensively for Texas A&M Corpus. Count runs at 2 balls and no strikes.
Got to be able to find the strike zone and get there to make sure that they can throw those strikes.
It's been an opposite story for the two teams tonight in terms of pitching. Either has got really good starting pitching. The Longhorn starter Michael Winter struggled. The Islander bullpen, though, has had a tough night. Texas's bullpen has been strong. A strike there from Higgins. It's 3-1. Three balls, one strike. That'll field the count at 3-2. Again, the Longhorns hosting Alabama this weekend. After that, their next conference series in Nashville against Vanderbilt. And then in the month of May, of the 3 SEC series they have, 2 of them at home against Mississippi State and Missouri. Final series of the year. The Tigers. And you feel like you have to know which Tigers they are. There's so many in that conference now. The Missouri Tigers are in last in the SEC. The only road series in May, and conference plays in Knoxville at Tennessee. And midweek still to come against Air Force, Sam Houston, and UTSA. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Higgins. And the Islanders down to their final out of the game.
We talked about this is opportunities for guys to earn their way into the weekend, to try to figure out a way to help that bullpen late in these ball games. And this was a big outing for this young man, for the confidence level as well.
Jackson Smith with 2 outs. Strike one from Higgins. So I mentioned Air Force, and that is the next midweek game, a week from tonight. It kind of brings back memories of Paul Skeens. Skeens pitched for the Falcons and exploded onto the scene being college baseball, baseball as a whole, as that ball is smacked up the middle for a base hit. That weekend in Texas, the nation saw what Paul Skeens can do, and LSU took notice too. Brought him in over the offseason, made a name for himself, winning a national championship, #1 overall pick of the Pirates, has since started in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
it all started here.
It did. It all started here. He was a pitcher / catcher, played some first base, hit home runs. He was very, very impressive as an athlete. And the one thing that everybody wanted to talk about was, how does he get in those fighter pilots? Those fighter planes. How does that even happen? and because he's a large human being. I don't know if you've ever gotten a chance to stand next to him. I have, and he is not a small fella. And now that he's gotten older, he's maturing, and he's been part of the major leagues, I'm sure he's even bigger now. But you're right, he got a chance to start right here.
That ball blasted to left, and that's down for a base hit for Flagger. His big night continues. And coming around third is Freeman. He's going to score as the Islanders keep the game going, and Flagger with a 4 RBI night of his own.
Have a day, Mr. Flagger. He's been able to get balls that are elevated and find the barrel. He hasn't missed at all. Good swing down the middle and made good, solid contact once again. And as you said, having a great night with his 4th RBI.
So, Carson Tenney, 5 RBI for Texas. Jarrett Flagger, 4 runs batted in for A&M Corpus. And that's going to be it for Cal Higgins. Couldn't get that 27th out of the game, and Longhorns will make a change on the mound. Leading 14-7 and looking for the final out to put a bow on this one. Back after this from UFCU Dish Farm. Weekend we'll have the big 3-game series between number 5 Texas and number 13 Georgia. Saturday afternoon's game is on SEC Network. Sundays is on ESPN, and the finale Monday night also on the SEC Network. And like everything else, all games are also available on the ESPN app. We'll look at McCombs Field, home of the reigning national champion Texas Longhorn softball team. Getting ready for that series against Georgia coming up. Mentioned the upcoming baseball schedule. Crimson Tide here this weekend. Homestand ends against the Falcons of Air Force next Tuesday. Then to Nashville for a 3-game series against Vandy. A midweek game against Sam Houston. Now Conference USA, formerly in the Southland with A&M Corpus. And then that first weekend series in May here in Austin against number 17 Mississippi State. New pitcher Cody Howard into the game now for Texas after Cal Higgins struggled in the 9th inning. Did strike out 2 but gave up 3 hits and a run. And Howard in from the Woodlands in to finish it off. Facing the backup catcher here for the Islanders, Jack Bergstrom. And takes strike 1.
That's the way you come in and announce your presence. Throwing a fastball right there on the corner.
Mentioned the Bulldogs in Mississippi State. They have a new head coach this year, but certainly not new in terms of making a name for himself in college baseball. Brian O'Connor, 22 years as the head coach at Virginia, national championship winning coach. Now in his first year in Starkville. Off the plate, 2-1.
What a night. What a night. Turned out to be really, really nice. You mentioned it earlier about how, early in the ball game, Texas A&M Corpus Christi showed up and let them know in that first inning, hey, we're here to play. And Texas just kept chipping away, put a few crooked numbers up in those middle innings.
Ground ball is short. Becerra, this should do it, and it does. And the Longhorns hold off the Islanders after a big flurry of offense early from A&M Corpus. Texas storms back. At one point, the Longhorns scoring 13 unanswered runs. Their first win this year, trailing by 5 or more. They were down 5-0 before they ever came to the plate.
That was something that's been impressive for Texas to be able to come back and get that done. It was a big win for the Longhorns. Timely hitting, aggressive hitting, but of course, you know as well as I do, we got to go back and look at that pitching. And Hudson Hamilton being able to come in and calm the waters, help this Texas baseball team get this victory tonight.
And the Longhorns improved to 28-7 on the year, 20-2 here at home, as the Islanders fall to 16-20 themselves. And that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight. So for Mike Harge, I'm Brant Freeman saying so long from Austin. The final score, Texas 14, A&M Corpus Christi 7. Be sure to tune in to the SEC Network Plus on Friday, April 17th at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. With number 4 Texas and number 11 Alabama. To watch this game in its entirety, visit the ESPN app or watch ESPN.com.